Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening.
I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It's January 11th.
Yes.
It is the year 2293.
It is.
We are living in the world of Zardoz. Still.
Yes, well, we are.
I don't know about anyone else.
We've lost a fellow traveler on the Zardoz path. Diamond from Diamond and Silk shuffled off this mortal coil.
Is that like a 80s porn company, Diamond and Silk?
No, you're confusing Diamond and Silk with one of Prince's many side projects from back in the 80s. There's Apollonia 6. There's
Oh.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Morris Day and the Time.
Yeah. I was getting mixed with the Morris Day and Time side project.
Yeah, a lot of people think that Diamonds and Silk were a Prince side project or a Morris Day in the Band tribute act.
I always thought that's what women wanted back in the day, after like Dave Wall, they want Diamond, they want Silk. This is not all that.
Diamond and Silk were like a bizarre kind of act. It was a weird mix. I mean, it's certainly a product of its time. But anyway, they were vehemently opposed to vaccines.
Let's say, first of all, real quick, how people always talk about silk and like silk underwear?
Yes.
Terrible. Awful. Why would anyone want to wear that?
True. Yeah. Yeah, I had way back in the day, I had a pair of silk boxers, and I always they were the last pair in my
like the one I am. It's either that or going commando.
When it was time to wear the silk boxers, I was like, okay, it's laundry day. It's like
like you never wore them. It's like gotta make sure that's the threshold. It was in a coal mine.
They were just not comfy, and anyway, so
all right, well, who wasn't comfy either? Diamond and Silk. All right, so Diamond and Silk were let's see, when Trump ran for president,
there
was these two black women that went viral this like act where they would just come out and defend Trump and real like just obnoxious.
They were good at their shtick.
Diamond did all the talking, and Silk literally just went,
ditto, mega dittos.
Like she did literally nothing. She was like the hype woman, and Diamond did all the talking, literally all the talking, and they didn't say anything good.
It was like a Penn and Teller act.
I guess Penn and Teller, if Teller went, so they were regulars on the Mega Chud circuit. They would be Trump's opening act at all his rallies. They had a show on. This is where I think this is not fair, and I'll defend Diamond and Silk here. They were famously recently fired from Fox for lying about COVID.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait. Just them? Couldn't the entire network be fired for lying about COVID?
Yeah, it did seem selective enforcement.
That's not fair. And, we can go into other things of like how it's not fair they were fired. They all suck. I just thought that that seemed weird. I was like, yeah, you guys really solved that. And they weren't even really on Fox. They were on like some weird like internet show on Fox or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they continue the act, and they love, they hang out with like, we're talking like Focaccio Blow, that little
MAGA rapper.
MAGA rapper. There's a couple other weird chuds that like fall around they're like Amoras. Is that what it is?
Remoras. Remora,
hang around the giant fish and eat its bacteria.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a couple of celebrities. I use that in
air quotes.
Yeah, air quote. But yeah, they were just hideous people. I mean, the funny
Yeah.
thing about them, a little fact about them, they were never Republicans. They actually were Democrats. And their show, they I guess they were struggling to do a YouTube thing. And their show just never really succeeded until they realized, hey, let's just do the Trump thing. That's when they got all the attention, because
they were smart in that, and they got on early.
Here, Trump's a racist? What do you mean? There's two black women. They're like passionately defending everything about him.
Yeah, they were good. They never had the charisma of like a gum gang or a Joker gang, but they were good. They were
they were real good. Yeah.
Think of a slightly less intellectual gum gang combined with like maybe a less charismatic Joker gang.
Kind of like they would be regulars probably on like Morton Downey Jr.
Oh yeah.
They would be regulars on like shows like that, like
Maury.
What?
Maury Povich.
Useful idiots, you know. Yeah. But Diamond back around Thanksgiving got really sick.
Yes.
And there was word going around that she had COVID, and she basically it hit her hard, and she died a couple of days ago. So she's been suffering from COVID since then. And it's never been confirmed. Nope. They're incredibly, now this isn't like just anyone getting COVID. These people push anti-vax stuff constantly, push anti-COVID misinformation, just like any other right-wing chud does.
Yeah.
In that world.
It was weird.
Decided that they're not gonna get vaccinated. And who knows if she did or didn't. It's funny because the right keeps pushing these stories about young people dropping dead suddenly. Yeah. And these people were supposedly vaccinated. Like, and the big recent one was that football player who's recovering now. And they said, oh, well, clearly it's because he was vaccinated. Right. Well, here's these people. This woman dropped dead. I mean, supposedly she wasn't vaccinated.
Yeah, I looked
at play this game, I guess.
I looked at their tweets. I did like an advanced Twitter search, and I looked at that account and put in like coronavirus and vaccine and a few things like that. And they had a weird evolution. I just spent like 10-15 minutes doing this, so I'm not going to say it was exhaustive research.
More than enough time on that.
Yeah.
More time than you ever shut up.
But it seemed like they were at first like saying coronavirus is no big deal, and then when like Trump was like touting the vaccine, Operation Warp Speed, they kind of were like, hey, you should get the vaccine, and then like they were like, no, the vaccine's probably got robots in it. They had like a whiplash journey through that part. So it was, were they vaccinated or not? I mean, I could see them getting the first round when it first came out or whatever, but a lot of the chuds were trying to find their footing. They weren't sure what to be outraged about. They knew they wanted to be outraged about something. Well, they went
full on anti-vax, and it's just fun. So now Silk, who's left with, who's gonna continue the act, but it's just gonna be her on stage,
right?
Going, yeah. And I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't think people are gonna care. And I don't think it'll be like hey, your act's missing something.
Yeah.
I always think that she should, they say you shouldn't speak ill of the dead.
Right.
Well, whatever. So I think she should do like, what do they call it? Ventriloquist. Because I said, like, what if Silk was like the brain of the outfit? And like, like her whole thing is like, well, I'm just going to stand, it's kind of like how like, what is it? Public Enemy. Everyone just assumed that Flavor Flav was just this dumb hype guy who went, yeah. And they interviewed what's his face? Chuck D.
Chuck D. Yeah.
And he said straight up, that guy's the guy who like writes all our music. Like, he's like a protege when it comes to like writing music and everything. Like, he's like
that could be the case. I mean, it wouldn't stun me. And like, I'll bet you
Silk was the brain, numbers. And so why not just replace her sister with a ventriloquist dummy.
Take that shit on the road. Weekend at Diamonds. Just like that's the name of the show. And
like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, they bring out her corpse and through a series of electrical shocks or something, and then there you go. That's
just
your
gotta
act.
play her, like, just move her around and play old clips, because it's all gonna be the same bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my god, they need to come up with new content.
Yeah, it is weird. I saw the debate like on Twitter and in some other different media.
The debate.
Well, the debate as to like, that's the thing, is that afterwards you always get and this is kind of a phenomenon of progressives, like half the people are saying like, look, this really sucks that she was only 51, she died, it was real preventable, and you gotta feel bad that a human life has been extinguished.
Now, again, it could have been like the right always likes to push, she had comorbidities.
Well,
and there's something wrong with her else. But you know what? She probably would be alive today, regardless if she had, like, let's say, diabetes or something else. The COVIDs would killed her.
Well, yeah, and then the other half of the people are like, look, up until the day she perished, she was part of this effort to put people at risk by spreading.
She's no different than any of those, like, we used to talk about that, like any of those shitty like preachers or whatever that would keep the churches open during COVID, and they didn't care, and they got all their people sick, and then they get sick, and it's like.
So I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of two minds. Like, it's like she's 51. That's real young. You know what I mean? She's
basically a peer.
Yeah. Right.
And the other thing too is like, okay, so now that finally I've been seeing Silk, I guess, does all the tweeting. I don't know, Diamond, who knows? And she's just like, I'm gonna sue anyone that's saying that, like, how dare you say what happened to my sister? Like, she won't admit that her sister died of COVID, or like I said, who knows? She could have died of something else. I have no idea. But
yeah. It's like, I'm looking at their Twitter feed right now, and it's just a long list of like the worst people in the world mourning her. You've got Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of Florida.
Lauren Boebert said something nice, and she posted a weird picture of her wearing that hideous dress that's supposed to be like. Remember, Lauren Boebert posted a picture of her wearing what was supposed to be
I see that
version of AOC's dress.
Yeah,
so like a little dumpy toad. And
it's just like all these people are terrible, just terrible,
like,
terrible.
Did she
people.
pose the same, or did she Photoshop herself from that photo? There's a photo of her with the Diamond and Silk and some black dude in the background. I don't know who this guy is. And
looks like the last tweet they posted before she died was a tweet about January 6th being an inside job. Like what am I supposed to like? I mean, I get the humanity of this.
I mean, it sucks, but like I said, it's just.
Yeah, I can think about. I got other things to mourn, I suppose.
I just think it's. I'm just curious what will Silk do? What's next? I'm assuming she'll probably not do anything right away. That would be, but some point the act's got to continue.
Yeah, right. The grift must go on.
The grift, yeah. Someone even said, like, let me see if I can find like any of the real quick. We haven't even discussed what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
But let's see. I love the diamond silk. I love the top banner of the two of them, and they have the diamond and, like, I guess, silk ribbon wrapped around it.
Oh yeah,
it's just so fucking funny.
It's good.
Oh my god! I mean, on January 8th, the world lost a true angel and warrior patriot for freedom.
Warrior patriot.
What's funny about these people is that, like, it's so paper thin because they weren't even Republicans. That it's just they're just people who had no integrity and said, our act isn't working as Democrats. Let's go and let's do this. And of course, they blow up real quick. Real quick too, before we move on.
Yeah.
Here's this other group, And they said that they laughed about it. These comedians called Frangella, and it's these two black women that've been kind of doing like a similar act for years, not like where they're kissing like a right-wing assholes.
Yeah.
Like Diamond Silkworm. Just kind of like the similar act of like two women talking. One of them's kind of more like one does more of the talking, the other one's yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And they used to be on like a lot of those like VH1 like talking head shows. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah. This is ringing a bell. Yeah.
Crazy. And Frangella were these two women and they're politically active on the left. They've been on like Air America, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they even said like they're like, fuck, they said Diamond Silk literally ripped them off. Like, which, hey, you know what? If I was Frangella right now, say the opportunity is open.
Right.
We're live.
There you go.
And if they have no core values at all, there's a hole that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
It's squeeze Silk out,
This is an opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. What are we talking about?
It's like that old Chinese expression, with every crisis there's an opportunity. They call it.
Is that really an old
Crisis-tunity is the Chinese word for it. It's yeah.
You just explained like everything that has to do with like war and tragedy. Crisis-tunity. Like anytime there's a disaster, there's like 10 people like rubbing their hands.
Exactly. Yeah.
In different parts of the world, like, oh yes, we're gonna need. Hey, I own a security company. That's crazy.
I have several pallets of bottled water.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wait, I own the oil refinery or whatever.
I own the patent to that drug.
Exactly. Crisis-tunity. I don't think that's a real Chinese word.
Oh yeah. A lot of people mistakenly get that as a tattoo. They think it means peace or something, but it's just
yes. I used the wrong letter. That's great.
All right, so tonight we're going to talk about a couple pieces of pop culture. We both saw the movie The Menu.
Awesome.
Which was great. And then we're talking about the last episode, and I guess as a result, the season 1 of Willow. And then we're going to talk about the new Congress and the attack on gas stoves, which has just been roiling the country.
How dare, you know what? They'll take my gas stove with my cold, dead, bare hands.
We had just recently successfully defended Christmas from yet another assault. And here we are now back in the trenches.
Put Mr. Potato Head's dick back on.
We're going to talk about that Brazilian dictator. No, he wasn't really a dictator. The extreme right wing politician that fled to Florida.
Wow, his supporters.
Yep.
By doing January 6th on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he ate some KFC and I guess had to go to the hospital.
Went to Publix and had some potato salad. And then ended up going to the hospital. We'll talk about that. That one's great.
Fucking, he got those heat lamps.
The guy lives in the hospital. The man got COVID like 20 times.
Yeah.
Literally the man of 1,000 deaths. The guy is invulnerable, but he's incredibly vulnerable and invulnerable.
Yes. He's like Mr. Glass from Unbreakable.
He gets inflicted a lot, but he survives.
Then we're going to talk about George Santos.
If that's his name, yeah.
If that's his name. And then we're going to wrap it up by talking about how we've already seen some candidates declaring for the next round of elections. And that'll be something. That'll be interesting.
Well, how about this before we get into all these things?
Yeah.
Let's talk about one other thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So last week we talked about a movie called This Place Rules.
Yes. Yeah.
It's an Andrew Callahan movie from HBO that was put up A24 and HBO Max. He was famous for No Gas, No Breaks, that should have became Channel 5. Some stuff came out about him.
Yes.
And I don't think we're going to be seeing any new material from him anytime soon.
Probably not for a while. Yeah.
Well, let's just say this. I'm not going to go into the details of it. A woman came out, and supposedly a couple of women have. I know at least one other one.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess the guy, let's just say the best word to describe him is sex pest, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing, like watching my Twitter feed 1 week of people like,
oh yeah,
defending him and saying like how great what he does, and his like, people like him attacking CNN's, not attacking, but just calling out like CNN or whatever, and just like not really unquestionably defending that movie, which
right.
I had some issues with it. I'd rather talk about that because you had a little epiphany in that.
Yeah.
Before all I'm saying is, so I watched my Twitter feed where this guy was like fucking golden god of like, I don't know. I don't know if I consider him a fucking leftist. I don't know where he is.
He was. I would say people on the right would call him a leftist, but I think people on the, I don't know.
Whatever. He's accepted as like a leftist, and whatever. And then like this comes out, and he has dropped like a fucking
yes.
stone.
They call it getting lowered.
He got the Lauer. I would say what Matt Lauer did was way worse.
Yeah, much worse. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, I only know so much about what this girl and anything else that came out. As far as I know, whatever. I'm not going to go into the detail of it, but let's just say his career has been a rising roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
The drop is literally 90 degrees. Gradual descension.
Yeah.
It's a thrill. I don't think we'll be getting a second documentary anytime soon. I have no idea. I don't think he's said it. He hasn't come out and said anything. I don't think there's been any like press release on his part. It's almost like he just
I
don't think he has a Twitter account.
That's a good question.
I don't think he has one. I think he's kind of like stays out of the whole social media thing, and like if he has one, it's probably just like a fucking illegal, like a sock account or whatever. Like
we talked about him last week, and you had pointed me towards a Twitter thread earlier in the day, and then you were saying that the guy was basically both sidesing the issue, and I was a lot more sympathetic to him at the time. I was like,
I don't think it's like extreme, like where he was leveling the two and saying like, well, left is just as bad, or people who support Biden are just as bad as people support Trump. I don't think it's like that extreme at all. It's just, I think from a people who are going to watch that, or people who maybe watch him, I don't know how politically active a lot of these people are. I think a lot of people just watch it because it's like, look, it's the Joker gang guy. It's like, it's just stupid. It's like watching a bunch of stupid people say really dumb shit in front of the camera. And I don't think people leave like his videos or movies and then join like an activist group or anything. I don't think they're like, you watch like a Michael Moore documentary, there's a clear agenda. And, and you like, I'm going to look into some groups and maybe join them. You know what I mean? It inspires you to do something politically active. And that's kind of what I think of any of those. But this is like, I don't know. He did these things in the movie I don't like, where it just felt like the person that, if your average everyday person who's not really political, whatever, they're
politically savvy,
and just go, well, both sides are crazy, like you need to like just say straight up, the January 6 people, the people that are into that, were completely mind fucked by evil people. And when you try to do a weird balance by showing like the outraged Biden lady, it's not, it kind of just sends a message of like both sidism in a bit. You cannot deny there's no reason to have that lady in the movie. There's none. I mean, like, I get it. Yeah, of course there's passionate people who are not as well spoken as your average media person or your average, like, I know that. Like, I'm not, I'm not, you know what I mean? But like, I think your average viewer will look at that and go, they're all crazy. Now, what were you guys saying? Sorry.
Yeah, that was kind of the epiphany I came across later on, just a few days ago, is that like it seems like this guy Callahan was blaming outrage culture, and that's why you saw certainly a bunch of buffoons on the right in that documentary, but also like some buffoons on the left in that documentary. And really that is, I guess, an element of both sidesism, but like there were plenty of serious people too. You know what I mean? Like serious people on the left trying to fight this, and people on the right that were serious and trying to prop it up.
He shows he shows like a 19-year-old kid covered in black attending one of those events where he's going to be possibly in a physical confrontation with fucking Proud Boy.
Yeah.
And he shows isolated clips of them saying something kind of outrageous or not well rehearsed, kind of stupid or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what right-wingers or whatever average person would just be like, that person sounds like an idiot or whatever.
But there are things
like that person in the black bloc or whatever, the Antifa, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They stand a better chance of having their fucking heads cracked open and sent to jail by a cop than a Proud Boy does.
Well, and there's some
so I imagine the stress for them is way higher.
And there's some things where it's like the appropriate reaction is to be outraged. It seems like Callahan was like condemning outrage culture in general.
That's what I was saying about like looking at there's like a privilege to like or like when some asshole uses I'm just telling devil's advocate. Right. That's a privilege to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
To look at it from the outside, and like I said, just like both sides are crazy. It's like South Park shit. That's what I would say. Like, it's like that bullshit, enlightened centrism bullshit.
Yeah.
And that is usually from a point of privilege when you can just look on the outside and then you're just like basically saying like the goons and the goofballs that like are sitting outside saying that Democrats are eating babies and you know denying an election, and other groups that are like trying to make it that their kid doesn't get like bullied in school because the school is isolating them from because they want to participate in a sport and they're being outed as trans and all this stuff. There's a clear difference. Of course, like that's why, you know, anytime I would post like some kind of artwork or whatever, or like the number one talking point the NRA would always do anytime there was after a mass shooting, they would say, "You're being emotional." And it's like, what do you?
Yeah,
we're not fucking snake men like you.
Yeah, this is the appropriate reaction is to be emotional.
That's a normal reaction is to be like, yeah, something needs to be done. We don't need fucking assault weapons. And the argument they make is, you're being too emotional. Like you're a cold-hearted piece of shit. Like
it's an interesting thing. And I know that like my feelings about it changed because I guess it's hard to put into words, but it just seemed like, I guess it was an element of both sidesism, but like, I think he missed his mark. I don't think the issue was that outrage culture spawned this or made it worse. I think that like outrageous things were happening and a bunch of stuff happened as a result of it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't outrage culture fueling it. Outrage culture sprang up as a result of it.
Another good thing to bring up too is like I saw some interviews of him with on mainstream news. And he was being interviewed by this woman from NPR, and of course the crowd was like on his side or whatever. And she brought up like him interviewing Alex Jones and said about working out with him and stuff like that. And he was like, "Well, why would I not? Like, I want to show this guy who he is." But I feel like what he ends up doing, and I don't think this is even his fault. This is, I mean, I think it's his fault in the end, and the editors, because they shoot a ton of footage and they pick the footage they want to use.
Right. Yeah.
And they craft a story. This isn't like I'm just going to post this 30-minute interview unedited.
No, it was
and you'll watch it. No, these are like edited. Like I remember like the right wing would always argue about like Michael Moore movies. They're like, oh, they're all edited. Well, duh, it's a fucking document. And like you guys don't edit your documentaries. Like,
that's how movies work.
yeah, it's like how it works. It's like the news doesn't edit their stories. Like I remember like seeing like what was it? There was like a news story and it was in my neighborhood and they were that scene for like hours. Ended up being like a 30-second bit on local news. You know what I mean? Like I think they might have edited it to the point where of the stuff they wanted. So in the video, in the movie, he's with Alex Jones and they show him working out with him and he's getting drunk, whatever, and it's really ridiculous. Right. He looks like an idiot. But I think what that does though is it makes Alex Jones look like a silly little clown man.
Yeah.
As opposed to a dangerous piece of shit who endangered victims of mass shootings, their lives, while he got rich. And I'm not saying Andrew Callahan is helping and aiding and abating him, but I think he is adding to the making him, let's make Alex Jones into a funny meme.
Yeah, sanitize it to some degree.
I don't like to the point where people, they don't take him seriously, but that doesn't exclude the fact that this is a very dangerous man.
Yeah. I agree.
And the same thing, like my other big issue was like when he's interviewing Enrico Tarrio and he's trying to point out like the hypocrisy, like, oh, he's selling t-shirts on both sides. But I almost feel like you're trying to point out like, yeah, this guy's an opportunist piece of shit and everything like that. You're downplaying the fact that he is the leader of a far-right fascist domestic terrorist group. And planned January 6th, even though he didn't intend because he was arrested for what happened at the church. But like you're downplaying how dangerous these people are by making them into funny meme men. Or like, Enrique Tarrio is a skis ball who sells like expired diabetic strips to people and sells pro Biden shirts because he doesn't care how he gets his money. And that's, it's good to point that out.
Yeah. But
you need to point out this guy is incredibly dangerous on like a whole other level. Like that's just all that other information is just like what do you call it, gravy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like icing on a cake. Like, oh, okay, yeah, the piece of shit is a bigger piece of shit. I got it. So I could see the criticism that the lady was saying. Of course, I could say the crowd was like, yeah, like they were all on his side. I'm sure they're not on his side now.
Yeah, right.
So like I said, I didn't hate the movie, but
it's fine. I liked most of it. I thought it was good.
I wish I could find the tweet. Someone pointed out this guy basically said the same exact thing. Callahan comes from middle class family. I don't think he's like comes from like super wealth, but middle class is in the end of the big story. It's like still a sign of like privilege. If you're middle class in America, that means you usually have food on your plate. You have a way to get to school.
Maybe go on vacation every now and then. Yeah.
You have like probably new technology or close to newest technology.
Yep.
There is a privilege to that. You probably have healthcare. That's a privilege.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
America, you probably have dental. That's a privilege.
Mm.
And he just said that like, and I'm not saying I know anything about it. He was just pointing out that whole like looking in the outside, looking in type thing, where you have the privilege of like I'm not participating in this. I'm above.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It's again enlightened centrist bullshit. Like, and I'm not saying that it doesn't even fucking matter because we can just shit on him now.
Right?
we can crap on him and it's fine.
Well, his personal.
I heard
stuff
his career is doing an with Diamond.
Right. Well, his personal stuff will work it out, but it is kind of weird to kind of reappraise that movie. Again, I still think it's worth watching. I liked a lot of it. I liked most of it. But there are some unique perspectives in it that may give away the game to some extent. That maybe he's not the person you kind of assumed he was or whatever. So, yeah.
Like I said, I mean, and your point about outrage culture, real quick before we move on, that to say like to just blanket outrage, And I brought that point. It's like, okay, they show the Biden lady and you make her out to be like a little bit of a over emotional goon.
Right.
Well, but like, what is she upset about versus what the fucking weird homeschool family tells their kid that like lizard people are eating babies?
You never know when that stuff's filmed or the context. I mean, like if you told certain people like, hey, they just overthrew Roe versus Wade, even though they swore they wouldn't. How do you feel about Trump? You know, and like they might lose their shit, or they might like be not super articulate.
Or it's like it could be anything and you don't know.
Yeah. Or they have a kid who is trans and really wants to be on the swim team and can't. You know, I mean, like there's all sorts, you never know. So
but to like blanket, like, you know, like the idiots that want to cancel, like, here's a good example. In Oklahoma, they're trying to put it through a thing that forces trans people to detransition.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like, that's outrageous.
Yeah, it's appropriate to be outraged over that.
Yeah, like Trump coming out right out the gate saying all Mexicans are rapists and killers or whatever.
It's a good thing to be outraged about.
That's the right take. When there's a mass shooting,
you should be outraged.
And like 30 people die. The right take is to be outraged by it. Like, because that means you're a normal human.
Yeah.
Like, if your take is like, not my guns.
Right.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. So I think that's our biggest issue, really, in the end of the day. When you say outrage culture, it's almost like he's trying to make it too simplify it, or maybe.
Right. Well, he wants to oversimplify it, and I think that's dangerous. I think that the outrage, there's some things you should be outraged about. And if you're not,
I will give him this though, and I'm glad that he brought it up, and it should be brought up all the time.
Yeah,
and I don't think it gets brought up enough. Like when he was being interviewed by that NPR lady, she brought up Fox News, and he called it mainstream news, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it is." But I could see why she works on NPR. She's been doing this forever. Right. She's like a legit reporter.
Yeah.
And she looks at Fox and goes, Fox isn't mainstream, because if I screw up in a story, I have to put out a thing saying like, corrections. I have to correct the story. Fox doesn't do that. But I think this is a definition problem.
You
have to say, Fox is mainstream because it is perceived to be a news network, and it is the number one rated news network.
If it's the number one, then it's got to be mainstream.
It's more mainstream than MSNBC. It's more mainstream than any network, because, like I said, you go anywhere, it's on all the time.
If
you go to like stores, you go to bars, if there's anything, like they always, for some fucking reason, have Fox on. And I just think that's something that needs to be communicated more. That they try to play the whole like, we're not mainstream. It's like, dude, you're mainstream as fuck. Tucker Carlson's the most mainstream freaking talk show out there, and that's kind of fucked up. Because if you tell everyone it's mainstream and they look at it and they're like, that's weird, that shouldn't be mainstream,
right?
Like then maybe that should call it into question more, and then maybe they would be criticized more and actually be held to a higher standard if they actually were perceived as mainstream. Whatever.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
So what?
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
No, it'll never happen. So that was that. Let's talk about another really controversial thing.
Yeah.
Willow. My God.
Oh yeah.
So when Willow said that thing.
I loved the whole series. I thought episodes 7 and 8 were like just amazing, and 7 and 8 together really could have been like a feature-length movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You would have obviously shot it a little different if you're trying to like make it a singular thing, but if someone wanted to, they could probably just watch episodes 7 and 8 and be okay. You'd get a full story, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you still need the rest of the series, but yeah.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if you had a person that's like, look, I'm not going to watch the whole show. Is it worth watching an episode or two to see if I could maybe possibly convince to like it? Yeah, watch 7 and 8. That's a great 2 episodes of TV, and they tell more or less a complete part of a story, you know. But
the cliffhanger in the last episode was Lorna Dannon.
Yeah.
And Kit, right? Is her name Kit?
Yes. Yep.
They jumped off the waterfall and they woke up in that land where the brother was. Who is
Eric.
Airk. Airk.
Yeah.
Eric. And he was like, he's been captured there, and now he's like transformed. His hair was short, and he's like, now for the crone or whatever.
Yep, he's been seduced by the dark side.
Yep, he is now Kylo Airk.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even realize he's been seduced.
He's kind of just like dumb.
Yeah, he's like a Spicoli character.
Yes, Spicoli. He showed up with a box of pizza.
But he's just like,
what are you doing?
He's just doing his thing, you know. He's not really like as sharp as like Kit, but he's a good guy. But he got seduced by the dark side. He has kind of like teamed up with the crone, and he's currently a bad guy when we meet him in this episode.
So, and then obviously the rest of the group shows up. They got to figure out what they're. It's like they assume that if they jump off this thing, they'll get in the other land. It's got to be for a good reason. And I don't know. I don't want to like recap the whole thing, but
yeah, I don't either.
There's a whole battle whenever they do like a whole like where the crone gives like an illusion of like giving her like everyone like kind of like a utopia, and Kit's mom's there and everything. It kind of reminds me a bit of like the ballroom scene from Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
she's like dancing with David Bowie, who the movie was about a middle-aged man trying to get with a 15-year-old.
Right. Yeah.
Basically.
With
what
was that? Was that Jennifer Connelly was the girl?
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Look, I agree. I don't want to recap the whole episode, but I will say this. It was really well done.
Yeah,
everything was
payoffs.
Yep.
You got to see the battle. Kit became Iron Maiden or whatever.
Yeah,
she cool.
The uniform worked. Borman offered to make out with anyone around.
Yeah, it showed that he don't care.
It had like
what they call it? Liquid fluid.
Right.
Fluid. He doesn't care.
Like the whole series, really, it did a great mix of being funny.
Willow, Lauren Dan and a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was weird. Yeah.
I saw some people. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter complaining about the modern dialogue, and I've seen some real life critics complaining.
Watch Willow.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's
movie,
like
it was kind of like that too.
I look. I get not liking it. If you don't like the way the dialogue is, that's okay. I mean, I guess that's your
no, it's not okay. And
but like, look, this is. It makes perfect sense. Like these are younger people. It's not like Willow's talking like this. Like younger people generally talk differently than older people.
Now that's lit.
Yeah, I mean, right, and it's not like that, but like they do say things like, you know, you're being skeevy, or I don't. They say like kind of more modernized slang. I love it. I think it keeps the show real fresh. I think it like definitely frees them up to show these characters' personalities more.
I mean, it's either that or it's going to sound like any other the Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Anyone who you didn't watch the first, I mean, listen, go watch the first movie. It's consistent with the movie. It is Could it be maybe a little more than the movie? Possibly, but you can't say it's not if you watch the movie. Like,
Well,
it's
this show
not
too
so
features like 4 very young actors. So they're going to be different than Willow, which focused more so on like middle-aged people.
17 when Willow was made.
Yeah, but like Willow's not. I mean, Willow is not the way they. Isn't he supposed to be like a different species? And aren't the Ulfling? What is the name of the?
I don't know. I think they're just
anyway. It is great. It's a great show. It definitely ends on a cliffhanger.
Well, it has a nice closure, but there is like a cliffhanger. Okay, so there is like the after credit cliffhanger, whatever you want to call it. Like, so they defeat the Crone. Spoilers. Yep. Lauren Dana finds out that the magic is with her. She does not need the stick.
Right.
Stick gets destroyed, and she's able to still do her magic. Yeah. You find out that the real villain is this thing called the Worm.
Right.
Just like some weird edit. It kind of showed it. I don't know. It was like weird. It was like it looked like a pathway, but that might have been like the back of the worm.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I thought the same thing, but
what's his face gets like Chrome like does something to him. Graydon.
Yeah.
Perishes or whatever you might think.
Yeah.
He gets taken out and sent somewhere. And Lauren Den defeats the Crone. The only thing I didn't like about the episode, you have those like cool like henchmen.
Yeah.
They kind of just got like pushed to the side. You really don't know what happened to them. Like there wasn't really like I felt like the rest of the people kind of fought like no-name monster. Like no, like just like zombies or whatever the hell they were. And like those, like that cool, like monster dude who
they should have gotten a more definitive ending.
Chewbacca now, same actor, big giant Swedish guy. I think his name is Una Suotamo. He's the modern Chewbacca.
Okay.
He took over for what's his face,
Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew did a little bit of Chewbacca in Force Awakens, but he was already like too old. So I think it was like the scenes where maybe he was like sitting down or something like that.
Right.
But Juno Suatamo, I don't know how I say his name, is the new Chewbacca. And I think he played that big guy that like had like a fucking, I don't know, he had like spikes and shit. He's kind of ugly looking. But
you're right, they didn't really resolve them. They were like the driving force of a lot of the series.
They were kind of like the bad guys that like Thanos is like henchman from Infinity.
Yeah.
Is the best example. Like I don't know. Like it was fine. Like I said, I liked it. Like this is a big payoff. The Kit transformation scene's cool when she turns like the armor. I liked it in the end when they're like her girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah, Jada.
Jada's like kind of like, is that ever like gonna come off? And like, I don't know. I'll try. like she's like, I don't know how to get this thing off. But
yeah.
Because it's like it's shoved in her that freaking key.
It did, yeah. I thought that was a nice touch. I will say one thing I always appreciate about certain shows is when all the dialogue, when all the scenes click together. And like the best example of that was Severance. Every single scene in Severance was important. It all fit together perfectly like a puzzle. But there's a lot of things that seemed like they might have been throwaway lines in Willow that really contributed towards like the whole of the series. Like all that weird little subplot. I remember you and I even talked about it. I was like, I can't figure out what they're doing with Graydon's subplot because they keep hinting that he has a darkness in him, but he's a really nice guy. And anyway, so that's clearly that they're leading up to where he ends in this. And that whole thing of the Curious, and we saw Kit really become like a new Mad Mardigan. She got
and her dad talks to her, and I was looking it up too to make sure it is the son who narrated the documentary.
Yeah.
That narrated the documentary also is the one that provides the voice.
Yeah.
So I'm reading it. They said that the reason why he's not in the show was because one, his health issues. I think I don't know if he's fully recovered, but he doesn't have a voice really anymore.
Right.
I don't think that's ever going to come back. Unless I have no idea. I don't know
Who
what
knows?
I don't think it'll ever be what it was, even if it did come back, like
right.
in any way. But they filmed this during COVID, there's like COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to risk his health. He's battling cancer and stuff. They didn't want to risk him. Well, that's why he wasn't in the season, but the voice was provided by his son, who, if you saw the Val Kilmer documentary, his son does the narration from like Val Kilmer's point of view. And his son sounds pretty much like
a lot like
it's almost the same voice. It's pretty crazy.
But all the pieces really clicked, and everything got paid off. And
Willow is great too.
Yep.
At first I thought like when he leaves in the beginning, I was like, he's not going to be in this, but then he showed up.
I wondered that. I was like, maybe he's not going to be in this. Maybe we'll see him in the last
get home
scene
for his daughter. It's all about like, if the people like. So like they had a reason to jump down there because somebody in the crew was affected, but like the person Willow, I guess, cares the most about is his daughter, but I forgot what he said, why he joined him. I guess, Lorna means a lot for him too.
He said like, my place is by your side, or he said something to that effect. And he did.
Yeah, she could deal. She has it.
Well, there's a cool scene where like Borman said basically like, I finally figured out I'm not the lead character, he said it kind of like that, like it wasn't like a meta moment, but it was in some ways. And he was like, I'm not the lead character. And like, there were a few scenes towards the end where like Willow's like, well, I'm supposed to be here. And in a very good way, it kind of like all those archetypes of how fantasy movies work. Like that's how the Lord of the Rings
and they gave him
how...
like a cool scene where he's the one that breaks the illusion.
Yes.
He shows up because there's like a wedding now with Lorna Dannon and Eric, and he shows up and breaks it, and it's like revealed like, it didn't even make sense. Like some of those people that were there, like it didn't even make sense why they would be there.
Right.
And like they were turned to stone. I like Kit's line when because they started reverting back when she said she was like crusty now.
Yeah. She is great. She's like
that actress is great.
Yeah, and all the characters did a really good job. And this is like the writing and the acting and all that kind of stuff. They all had like an arc. They all grew. Even Willow, and like you'd be like, well, how can Willow grow? Because he's a fully born character when you meet him. But right. Like you can see Willow.
They established that he felt like he was never like he was kind of a fraud.
Yeah.
Like he only had really that one act that saved the Lorna, and he was kind of riding off of it. And like his people were like living underground. Like that's not good. And he's supposed to be their leader. So I think like this definitely he grew in the show, and that I think he realized like it's okay to like not
know your limitations.
And know, I thought that was great, the whole point of that. And like, I'm trying to think, I feel like I watched something else recently. He said something like the greatest wizards are the ones that make the mistakes.
Yeah. He's like, look, you got to own your mistakes. You got to like all the things that you
learn
do,
from
good
them.
and bad. Yeah. Make you, he said they make you like he didn't say a cantankerous old sorcerer or something.
Well, he said that the best ones are the ones that made mistakes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think like it's a growing moment in that like he'll be your teacher. She needs a guide. Even he looked like he grew as a wizard too. Like
he did. He got much better, but he also knew his limitations.
Right. So I thought that was cool. Like I said, I like the whole thing. That Eric gets like kind of the crone kisses him, but he thinks he's kissing like the young girl, the young pretty woman, versus like what the crone really looked like, which was like the hideous CGI character.
Right. Yeah.
And he ended up turning evil too for a second. Like, like when what's his name looks at the painting in Ghostbusters 2 and then quickly it turns into Vigo for 1 second.
Yeah, he looked at I think it was the official congressional photo of Paul Gosar, and then he just
Yeah, he looked at that and got possessed.
So anyway, it's a great show. And then the stinger at the very, very end was that you see on a bookshelf. Oh, go ahead. Good.
Well, the real quick is you learn that they defeat the Crone, whatever, they leave. Unfortunately, what's his face seems to have perished or whatever, but
yes,
I don't know, like Lauren is like, I'll find him another day, whatever. He
right.
does tell her earlier that he loves her, and he doesn't even, it doesn't matter if she responds or not.
Yeah.
He had to say it, and he's like, I love you, you don't reciprocate it, that's okay, it's fine, it's okay.
It was like that guy at the end of Derry Girls.
Wait, I'm trying to remember the guy.
Remember the video, the one boy admitted his love to Claire, and she was like,
the main guy, the one that they always shat on.
Yeah. And he's like, you don't have to love me back. And she's like, okay. And then she never did. Then she
liked him.
She did, but they left it purposefully ambiguous. She said it won't work because you're my best friend's brother or cousin or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, the stinger at the end was that you saw a hand put a book back on a bookshelf, and it was the first of 3 volumes.
So watched. So that's their way of saying, like, well, hopefully it gets renewed, and that this will be probably just 3 seasons, which I'm fine with. I don't need to have like 30 seasons of Willow.
No.
Now that's not the big stinger though. The big one is after the team walks off after battling, and like they're like, wow, Willow's like, oh, but we have to fight the worm or whatever, like
right.
There's a evil coming or whatever, it's like talking about possible adventures in the future. But the big one is Graydon, right?
Yep.
Wakes up in a field of like dead people, kind of like the Willow's like prophecy from like episode 2 of the series and whatever.
Yeah.
Where Willow's like got a beard, he's like a little older, and he's waking up in this like this big battlefield with like dead people, and it was kind of like a prophecy or whatever, like something horrible is gonna happen. Graydon seems to be in that similar situation, like it looks the same, like lighting and everything in the bodies. And he wakes up and he's not really sure what's going on. And you see Lorna Dannon, but like she's wearing like all black.
Yeah.
Her hair's a little shorter. And she's telling Graydon to join her. And she seems to be leading like all the monsters. And you see the the 2-headed dragon from the first Willow.
Mm-hmm.
You see that in the background breathing fire, and you see like the other henchmen. It's just like a horde of evil baddies, And
it was a great scene.
And she's like, join me. And it's super confusing at first because you're like, wait, is this like an alternate reality? Did Graydon wake up in a future? Is this like I said, is this Lorna Dannon, but like from another dimension? Did Lorna Dannon turn evil? He woke up in the future. And what me and you talked about beforehand, and it was saying like it's probably like the Crone where it's an illusion.
Yeah, I think that the worm or one of the worm's minions realized that is Graydon's weakness, or what he desires most is a Lorna Dannon. So they gave him a sexy version of a Lorna Dannon to look at, and
evil sexy.
And they're like, this is Allura, but she's a little dirtier, with like 2 or 3 R's.
Bad bitch Lorna Dannon.
Right. And so it's hard to say because like they did a really interesting job.
Lorna Dannon.
They did a really interesting job of making Graydon. He's been possessed.
It was weird when she looked at the camera and said, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way.
We've seen him possessed. We know he has a capacity for like evil.
And they show that he has potential to be a powerful wizard too.
Yep. Like, he can be very powerful.
He's untrained, but it's there.
And so
that too.
It's hard to say like if we get a season 2, knock on wood, then I'll bet you he starts out as a very bad guy, and that's one of the things is like, can they save him? Can he redeem himself? Or which is a good story, That's So it'll be good. I'm super looking forward to a
And then,
season
like,
2.
Lauren Dannon even was like, I don't want to get married to you, to Eric or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what kind of broke it too. Like,
Well, she even said, like, look, the old you would be disgusted by the new you. And so
yeah.
she had like a recognition that this isn't. I'll bet you if Eric turns his life around next season, she might be down to hang out with Eric. But that was another big moment in episode 7, is that Willow was like, what do you even like? What do you like about Eric?
Like a teen crush thing.
Yeah. So
and then Lorna Dannon is from the end of the season versus the beginning of the season. It's like a full-on transformation. I mean,
yeah, it would make much more. I mean, I like, I'm getting way out ahead of myself, but it would make much more sense if a Laura Dannon didn't really need or have a hookup. You know,
that's
like,
what I just look at it that way. It's like Jedi shit or something like that. Like, it would just be like she's supposed to serve this, like, be the protector or whatever, and like, you know, can't.
And I mean, I don't know where that leaves all the other characters, but you know, could leave them anywhere. So
yeah,
it's a good. I so hope they get a season 2 and 3.
I really do. I think it was great. I liked it a lot. I like that I like the whole ending with the book, like somebody, because, you know, the whole show and everything, it's like you're looking through the pages of a book.
Yeah.
And I like the music in the end. I always like when they do that. I don't care.
Me too.
Like, oh, it's a rock song. What song did they use in this one?
Money for Nothing by the Dire Straits. Yeah. It was
great.
I
thought that was interesting. And I do like the whole reveal of, like, I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, it says volume 2 and volume 3.
Yeah.
They better fucking have it. You know, I mean, if this was Netflix, the show would be canceled already. Like, before they even
you would have gotten a Twitter alert saying they canceled it halfway through episode 8. You would
have. Well, first of all, Twitter would have dumped it all at once. Not Twitter. Netflix would have dumped it all at once, so that everyone would have forgotten it a week later after it got dropped, and then people would be like, "What happened to that show?" And a month later, Netflix would be like, "It was canceled."
If it were HBO Max, they would have removed the first 7 episodes as the eighth episode aired. It would.
Have they been doing it?
No, I'm just
okay. They replaced it with My 1,000-Pound Willow.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It would have Ulfling swap, Crone swap.
What?
Crone swap.
Crone swap. Yeah, just like that lady from, remember that wife swap years ago?
Yeah.
He's like, he's not a Christian. Swap. Yeah, this is a shitty reality show.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. God. Well, anyway, we watched we watched a second thing. You told me I needed to watch The Menu.
Menu is awesome. The Menu is like what Glass Onion wanted to be.
I saw, like, it's weird. They had a lot of similarities.
I mean, it's different. It's not the same at all, but it's similar in, like, you know, affluent characters, and they're all kind of shitty and everything.
I liked them both a lot. I think, like, I happened to catch Glass Onion on good night. My daughter was over at a friend's house. My wife and I watched it. It was it was like the perfect chill night that we don't get too often. So that movie really did it for me. And I liked The Menu quite a bit, but I watched that alone.
Toilet. At a Hardee's.
I watched it alone, and it was intense, and I don't know what I expected, but, like, it was very unsettling, and it was dark, and it was a great movie, but I didn't enjoy it like I enjoyed Glass Onion. I was sad when Glass Onion was over. I was like, oh man, I wish this could have gone on because I'm having a good time. And when The Menu was over, I'm like, dear God, I am.
You want to eat s'mores though?
Oh yeah, it was such. I was trying to talk.
And then the chocolates melting on that woman's head. I was like, oh my God, this is brutal.
I was talking to someone, and they were like, they were confused. They said it in a way that the way I'm going to repeat it here makes it sound like they didn't get it, but they did. But and I had the same wondering. I was like, it starts out as a very realistic movie, and then it slips into unrealistic, but then it almost again slips into like farcical or something. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
it begins, you don't really know what the hell's going on. It starts with like a bunch of different people going on a boat.
Yep.
They're all kind of talk. Some of them are talking about their lives a bit. You get the idea, like, okay, these people with money or whatever. People like one of them, John Leguizamo, is an actor. There's this woman that
food critic,
girlfriend, or like I think he was. It's like an up and coming actress, and I think he's not fair with her. Like I think it wasn't. I think he had a wife or something like that. There's these three guys. They're talking about like company they work for, whatever. There's food critic, that lady, she was from Ozark. She got her head blown off in the end of this.
Oh yeah,
she was that lawyer. And I guess the guy, Matt, like whoever runs the magazine or whatever. There's like an older couple with the Angela, boss.
Yeah.
And she's been in tons of other shit. She's been in a lot of like Ryan Murphy stuff over the years. And then you see, I'm trying to think if there was like anyone else. You see this guy. Let me just pull up the let me pull that up on IMDb. So I hate like guessing. I'm bad when it comes to like character names. And
well, it starts the basic premise and the way it starts as you're pulling that up.
Well, Nicholas Hoult plays a guy named Tyler, and Anya Taylor-Joy plays a woman named Margot, whatever. And they're on a boat, and he's talking it up, and he's just like a big foodie nerd or whatever. And they go to the restaurant. They go to this place. It's like clearly like an exclusive. Like clearly this is gonna cost ton of money.
Yeah.
Clearly you have to put in a reservation, probably like 2 years in advance.
Right.
You're gonna have like this amazing experience with this world-renowned chef, played by Ralph Fiennes.
Yep.
And right from the beginning, we're gonna spoil this. Right from the beginning, you're told when you meet Elsa, played by Hong Chau, who is a bad guy in the new Watchmen series. She was like the illegitimate daughter of what's his face, Jeremy Irons' character.
Yeah. Ozymandias.
Yeah, she was like the bad guy in that movie. She's like the maitre d' or whatever, and they're like, she's not supposed to be here. We had a different. This is not the person that was supposed to be here. It was supposed to be someone else. And they keep going on about like everything's like tailored to like people's like everything. We know it. We look up everybody in advance, and it's kind of weird. You're like, what? That's a little crazy. Like, and they're making this big deal. Like, she's not supposed to be here. Like, this is supposed to be these specific people.
And there's some ominous music and angles and like they're building the tension there.
So like you see like it's like this open kitchen with like tons of people working for him, sous chefs and everything, and then the main chef Ralph Fiennes, and you see like his mother's there, and it's really weird. She has like her own little table, and she's just getting wasted. And you basically find out that like everyone's gonna die. Okay, so the first thing was, I forgot the first thing they ate. And then the second thing was the bread, but there was no bread.
Yep.
They get no bread.
The first thing was a biome, like a salad type of deal, like with salt water and ice and whatever. And then there was the bread with no bread. And
it was just like condiments. And Anya Taylor-Joy's like refusing to eat it. She's like, this is stupid. I'm like, I'm not eating this. And of course that gets the chef to be like, what the fuck? You know?
Right.
And he knows right from the get-go. Then they're like, okay, so then there's like another meal, the chicken leg or whatever. He's talking about his father beating his mother or whatever, and his mother stabbing him, whatever. And everyone gets like a quarter chicken leg, a chicken thigh, whatever, and there's a scissor in it.
Yeah, and that's the first time things get like overtly weird.
Yeah, like you're like, wait, this is strange. What's going on here? And then the next is like the sous chef comes out and literally blows his brains out.
Yeah, the fourth course is when everything goes to hell. It's called I forget the sous chef's name. It's like Ivan or something. And the dish, I think it's called Ivan's Mess. And
the mess.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
He shoots himself in the head. And it's like the chef says, like, this guy wants it was twofold. First, he's like, this guy wants to be great, but he's not great. He's just very good. And then he says the thing that pushes him over the edge is the chef says, like, do you want my life? No, he's like, do you like your life? And the sous chef is like, I hate my life. And then the chef is like, you want my skills, you want what I can do, but do you want my life? And the guy's like, no, I don't want you. I don't want it. And then he blows his brains out.
And the other weird thing, okay, so when in the beginning of the movie too, when like they're getting on the island, the maitre d' lady tells them basically like they all live there, they all work. And my favorite is when the guy's like, do you guys get burnt out or whatever? And she says something about like we don't burn the food or whatever. But like, there's all these like weird things. Like they show like the one room with all the cots everyone lives in.
Yeah.
They basically live in this island. It's like they have no life. It's like they literally live to do this. And there's so it's like a weird cult aspect to it. And then like, the chef basically says everyone's gonna die tonight. Like, I don't think anyone, like, especially after the guy blows his head off.
Well, the other big thing that happens after that is that some guy tries to leave.
Yep.
The older guy tries to leave, and they cut his finger off.
They cut a finger off. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like super intense. And
then you find out too that old guy knows who. Oh, that was the other thing too. The other weird giveaway was the chicken thighs was. It was basically like everyone was gonna make their own tacos or something with the chicken, and everyone got tortillas.
Oh, right, yeah.
And everyone's tortillas there was like burnt images burnt into the tortillas. So like the three guys, it was like built like whatever information that would incriminate them for doing.
Yeah, because they were stealing.
The older guy who was with his wife, it showed him. Well, one. I guess she's been there like 3 times, but he's really been there 11 times.
Yeah.
And they show, and it's with like another woman. The John Leguizamo, I think it's his movie.
Yeah.
That is hysterical later on. Ralph Fiennes talking about like how he barely gets any time off. He got a Sunday off the first time in like forever, and how important his time off is. How little time he gets off, and he sees that movie that he was Sunshine something, and how terrible it was. And that's one reason why John Leguizamo is there and gonna get killed. Is because he took that one day off that he probably gets every couple of months away from him for this shitty movie. I was cracking up. I love too when they showed the meals, and in the corner there would be the explanation. And like the last one, they even like wrote like the dead guy, like like.
It's hard to explain, but like it went beyond the normal, like, well, real people wouldn't act that way, because like by the end, all these people are like willingly accepting that they're getting killed.
They're all like cowards and shit. None of them are the joke is that none of them are gonna risk their lives to fight off these people, but they're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's
and he blames them all in various ways for like
making him hate like what he does.
Yeah, and for like that Tyler guy, he's like, that Tyler guy knew all about food, and he had a special.
Oh, that scene is great. Well, first of all, you basically find out he asked Margot to go to his office, the chef. Yeah. And he basically realizes like, okay. They don't outright say she's a prostitute, but it's clear.
She's an escort, yeah.
Yeah, escort. Yeah. They say that she's in the service industry.
Right.
Like, I know when there's someone. It's all about like class and stuff like
that. There's a lot of class, yeah.
Yeah. And saying like, clearly this guy came from humble beginnings, and like, it's like to make more money and be more successful, you have to make these weirder meals and stuff that regular people don't eat to fill these rich people's palates, It's all this like deconstructed bullshit and everything. I love, again, I'm not recapping this movie, I'm just gonna tell it out of order because I'm talking about what I like. I love the end of the movie. This is how Anya Taylor-Joy is the only survivor of
right
this. Because one, it's like, and He basically says you're gonna die, but I think he gives her like a little ways out. Like she fights what?
Yeah, he does it in two ways. First, he says, "Do you want to die with us, the kitchen?
The staff. You're gonna be staff.
Yeah, the staff, or do you want to die with the people out there?"
So he has her go do like a task of getting something, but then it's like, which takes her to a room where there's a boat. She could call the radio.
Yeah.
And she sees the photo of him cooking a hamburger or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a young guy, like clearly like a teenager.
All happy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's never been happier. And she fights that maitre d' lady and like kills her. Yeah. But in the end of the movie, the best part is when she like challenges and says, what she said, I forgot. It was like in the end, she was like basically like, "Oh, I don't like the meal."
Yeah, she's basically. Like, none of this was good. He was like, "Why didn't you eat? You didn't eat all night." She's like, "This all looks terrible," you know.
Well, and obviously she's like, "I don't want to get killed."
Well, and then she's like, "You didn't cook with love," and he's like, "We cook everything with love," and she's like, "No, you cook with obsession, not love."
Yeah,
and then he asks like. He asked something, and then she's like, "I'd like a cheeseburger.
I want a real one, not some deconstructed bullshit." She said she challenges, basically saying, "I bet you can't even make one. I bet you can't even make a basic cheeseburger."
Right, and
then this cheeseburger is probably gonna be really good.
But it's funny because like this scene was like so perfect. She's like with American, like she's goading him. She's like with American cheese, you know.
I will say
this.
Again, I watched the movie, and the most unrealistic part of that movie.
Yeah,
I could believe they would have the chuck meat. I would believe that.
Right.
Basic American cheese, maybe the bun.
Yeah, I thought the same
fucking
thing.
Sesame seed bun is. We had a hard time believing that he would have that fucking bun, because bread goes bad real quick. It's not like like even American cheese, you could have in the fucking refrigerator for like a month or two. It's fine.
Yeah,
but like that bun has like a shelf life of a week, and unless the waiters or the staff or whatever is eating fucking cheeseburgers or whatever.
But he was like,
she's like, with the realistic part of the movie, it's crap.
She's like with American cheese, and he like, you expect him to be revolted by the thought of American cheese, but he's like, American cheese is the perfect cheese for a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And then they show him cooking the burger, and the music changes.
Yeah, he's smiling.
Yep.
He's has passion to make this cheeseburger. She challenged him to make it like. I bet you can't make a good one.
Yeah, but just for a moment, like he knows it's too late. He's like, "Look, I'm too far gone."
Yeah, this is all die. You're all gonna die. Like, it doesn't matter.
But he has that bittersweet moment of, this is what it was like. I remember being happy and cooking just for the sake of cooking.
And also, like the best is when she takes a bite and she's like, my eyes are a little too big for my stomach. Can I take it to go?
Yeah.
And he lets her go.
Yeah.
She takes because there's a big joke is that she calls, like, now they're on an island, right? So like cops gonna show up on a boat or whatever. Yeah. And that scene's hysterical. The cop shows up.
And he's actually a worker there.
Yeah, but like it's great because it's like a whole setup. And he sees John Leguizamo, and this is after you already know he hates that movie. And the cop's like, "Oh, my life, love that movie." Like it just makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
And then like he pulls out the gun, but it's a light. He lights a candle, and he's one of the staff. But the boat is still there, so that was her way of getting off. The scene with Tyler. There's a scene where, so you basically find out that Tyler was the only one that knew. Tyler knew that he was going to die. He's bizarre. The guy, there's definitely something off about this guy.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess he's been writing to him, and Ralph Fiennes must have knew the guy was just an obsessed lunatic, and that would never like tell the cops or anything. And he told him the rules though, that you couldn't come alone,
Right.
And I guess at the time maybe he had a girlfriend or whatever, but he hired Margot. So he basically killed this woman. He brings this lady who he was paying to be there, an escort,
knowing she would die.
sentencing her to death. And I guess Ralph Fiennes was like, whatever code he has, he's like, well, you weren't supposed to be here. So he gave her those way outs,
Yeah.
He's like, you could go. She had to like kind of work, be clever about it. But there's this great scene in like before one of the meals where he brings Tyler up, he gives him like a chef's outfit, because Tyler's he seems to know everything. He knows all the techniques, and then they show him cooking, and he can't. It's so funny. It's like watching it. I'm like, I would imagine he's probably a little nervous too.
Sure,
but there's something to be said about like the obsessed fan who knows all the things, but it doesn't mean they could do anything. It doesn't mean they can make the movie or make the comic or make the record.
Yeah,
they're just they're just obsessed nerds about it. And that scene when he's like cutting up everything and putting the butter, he doesn't even cook the lamb. It's like so gross. And then he eats it, and when he says like disgusting, and then he whispers in Tyler's ear, and fucking guy hangs himself.
Yeah, he whispered, and the chef would often whisper, and you didn't get to hear what the chef would say, but then the person would kill themselves.
He basically, so Tyler goes and kills himself, but that guy's a piece of shit. I mean, he basically sentenced Margot to her death, knowing he was the one who knew full well what was going to happen that night. So everyone there, he's like, go ahead, what?
Well, it was weird. Like most of the movie really was about class, like there was a definite theme, but there was also like an equally dominant theme about like, I guess like creativity or art or something, where like that chef got consumed by his art or his whatever it was he was doing, you even saw him like in his little cabin. He had like a model of the restaurant his work was in his home too.
That's right, because she walks in one room and it's basically the same exact room, empty. I was like, wait, where did everyone go? And then I realized, no, that's his.
He can never leave it. He lives it 24/7,
he's like constantly like practicing and rehearsing it.
So I think there was like a big theme about like, and it's not just like creativity or art, it's like people who have a passion for something. I mean, it could be like, hell, it could be football or teaching or being a traffic cop, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's like if you throw your whole life into something with passion, then it eats you up,
Yeah.
So it was really great.
The critic, when he says to her, like, because on the back of her tortillas was like the restaurants that she basically was responsible for shutting down. Yeah. I love, like I said, the ending, which is the dessert where everyone's turned into a s'more.
Yeah.
And I like, what did he say? It is the creation, the idea of it is repulsive or whatever.
Yeah.
Work. It's marshmallow, chocolate, graham cracker. It's like an insult or something.
Yeah, he said it's like the like most foul thing in the world, yet we associate it with innocence or something like that.
Yeah. That was pretty brutal when the chocolate's melting on the woman's head. It's kind of like the people melting in Indiana Jones and kind of a little bit of that. She's she's on the boat and you see the explosion in the background. I mean, it was incinerated, like fire set up, and she sits there eating a cheeseburger. I will say though, I don't know if I like that cheeseburger. I was looking at it and I said, I'm like, I think 2 patties is too much. It
would look like a lot of cheeseburger.
I don't mind 2 patties when it's like a Big Mac is a good example.
Yeah.
Of those type of burgers, like a smaller, not a quarter pounder.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called. Like that works. I don't mind that. But when it's like big ass burgers, 2 of them,
that's a lot.
It's a little too much. So I would say to that chef, you failed.
It was really good. I guess it was like a horror movie more than anything.
Kind of thriller.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if I'd put it in the horror section.
That
was the thing too. We're like, she even said like something about like, oh great, they're gonna be cannibals or something.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna find out. Like, and it could have been that direction. You could have the same exact movie where Margot's the outsider, and you find out she's like with a bunch of ghouls that eat people.
Yeah.
And like she's the non-ghoul, and
honestly, that's what
plays out the same way. But
when I first heard about the movie, I thought that's what it was about. I thought it was
a
group
in a
of
way
rich
they are
people.
ghouls. All the people there are somewhat ghoulish, in what they do and what they are. I do like the three guys though. There's a funny part where one of them gets cake, and the other guy's like, when we came up with this idea hours ago, it was a lot funnier. And this was because the cake was like, they already know they're gonna die.
Right.
That I thought that was hysterical. I thought that was really funny. It's like the guy's like, it was a lot funnier earlier.
It was good. I would definitely say like
I knew nothing about it going in. I knew there was something up about it, but like I made sure not to look up. I just heard about it and I was like, okay, it's great cast. And
I assumed it was about a group of wealthy people that would eat people.
Do you remember that movie years ago where what's it called? It's like these like kind of liberal people. They killing like wacko conservatives, and they have dinner, and they're burying them in the they would basically have a dinner and invite like an anti-abortion nut.
Right. And then they'd kill
like a wacko, and then they would kill them.
God,
and
what was the name of that?
Burying the body in the garden. And it was called, was it The Dinner Guest or whatever?
Something like that.
It starred what's his face? Who's a Hellboy? Who played Hellboy? Oh, Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
See if I can find the movie. And Ron Perlman plays like a Rush Limbaugh type.
The Last Supper. Was it The Last Supper?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2018.
And he kind of like outwits them in the end, and because because they were like killing like idiots and fanatics and whatever, like the willing participants of January 6th.
Yeah, actually,
Ron Perlman who orchestrated it.
That was a remake.
It was a remake. It was from
it
was from like 96. It's old. It's old.
95.
Oh yeah, okay.
Was Ron Perlman in it? Maybe.
Yeah, he is.
I'm looking at it wrong.
Ron Perlman plays the Rush Limbaugh character.
Yeah, it was not a remake. I'm thinking if there was another movie with similar plot, but anyway, it did have some vibes of that. I don't know. This is the same guy that did Succession on Showtime.
Shankman, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, and so he's done a couple of things.
I can see there's similar characters that have vibes of like.
Yeah.
Have you watched Succession at all?
No, I haven't.
You gotta watch that. That's a great show. What's his face is such a piece of shit. Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
All three of those guys, the three guys at the table were basically the brothers in Succession.
Okay. Yeah.
All three of them. Like that's a good example of like those type of characters. So that makes sense. That's a good show. Succession's basically like a weird like Fox, like Rupert Murdoch type family.
Huh.
And it's about I mean, fucking what's it? Cox, I think his name is. Basically plays Rupert Murdoch. And he gets sick in the first episode, and he might die. So it's all about like who's going to take over, and that's why it's called Succession. But it's such a good show. I'm sure it'll descend into. As the seasons go on, it'll just get dumber though. That usually happens unfortunately some shows. They just get like a little too cartoonish, you know what I mean? It's like what was good about it in the first 1 or 2, 3 seasons start to get like a little.
Yeah, they go to the well too often.
Yeah, it gets a little too ridiculous. Another thing, before we move on, I have a recommendation. I just watched this show. Speaking of like again, classism, all that. I feel like there's been a lot of content coming from South Korea, a lot of content. I could take two. Parasite.
Yep.
Squid Games.
Yep.
There's another show that just aired on Netflix called The Glory, and it's a South Korean show. I watched it. It's gonna be 2 parts, so like the second part is gonna premiere in March.
Okay.
It's about a girl who's like bullied, and I can't even like explain it. It's brutal as shit. She gets bullied by these rich kids in the school.
Yeah.
And it's awful. Like it is unbelievably awful what happens to this girl. So it's basically she's older now. She's been plotting her revenge.
Nice.
And going after these people. Like the main girl's like this really rich bitch. Like she's fucking evil. It is a little corny and like some of the soap opera, but if you liked Squid Games,
yeah,
you liked this movie, we just watch The Menu or any of that type of stuff, or if you like the movie Parasite,
yeah,
highly recommend you watch The Glory on Netflix.
All right, I'll check that out. Yeah,
I think it's worth. Yeah, it's 8 episodes. Like I said, the second there's gonna be a part 2, but that's coming out in March, which was good because I was like, fucking Squid Games. I don't think we're even getting a season till like next year. And so I was like, oh no, but then it was found out it'll be so highly recommend you watch that.
Cool.
I think you'll if you like those things, you'll like that.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be good.
So yeah, I mean, definitely watch The Menu if you have. I mean, we spoiled a lot of it.
But it's the movie.
We did warn you.
It is an open book. I mean, like the movie is kind of watching it unfold.
Yeah, but you going in blind makes the movie so satisfying. So,
yeah. All right.
Maybe next time we talk about movie, we just put a disclaimer first saying like.
Right. Well, we did say we're going to spoil it.
Yeah. Did. All right. Speaking of spoiling.
Yeah.
That new Congress.
Yeah, it's kind of a shit show. I know that they had a tough time electing.
Oh God, that's right. Last week we were talking about we didn't even know who the fucking Speaker House was. It wasn't until like Friday at midnight did they finally cave.
It was real exciting.
Like, dude, the guy lost. It just shows you like the different. Like, even though we already know that's how the Congress works, but if you look at it from the outside, let's say look at Andrew Cowan. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Looking at it from the outside of just like, wait, this guy, King Jeffries, keeps winning. He's got 212. Why is he not the Speaker of the House? The other guy doesn't even have he had 12 votes less than him. And that's because it's about plurality, I guess. It has to be like.
You have to get a certain margin of votes.
Well, it has to be, I guess, it has to be, I guess you have to have above half of Congress. So it's 218.
Yeah.
Is half, I guess, and you have to have above that, or I don't know, is it 217? I guess it's 217.
Could be. I don't know. Yeah,
you need to have above 1, I guess, to be the Speaker of the House. And man, they weren't budging until the end, and it was great. There was like a fight that almost broke out. This fucking toupee where
hillbilly from
Alabama. Which I would have loved to see him connect.
Oh yeah,
to Matt Gaetz. I think that would have been very satisfying. Matt Gaetz is the literal definition of smug. Like,
yeah. Oh God, yeah.
If there is not like someone that you wished was at the at the restaurant in The Menu.
Yeah.
Like even the chef would be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna feed you.
Right.
You're too gross. There was a scene in the end where like some guy, I don't know what it is, some congressman like just comes and whispers to him basically like, like, okay, this game ends now, or this charade or whatever. It could be like, hey, you know what, dude, we've been protecting your ass. If you want to keep being, because Matt Gaetz, if you listen to this podcast or pay attention to anything in the news, he's had some issues over the years when it comes to the fact that he likes to sex traffic minors, like young women.
Right.
This Venmo account history of weird transactions. Those photos of him going to girls' volleyball is real. Like when that came out and all those photos of him, like, he doesn't have any kids or anything in the.
Well, yes, Nestor.
Oh yeah, Nestor, his groomer is grooming.
Well, it was weird. I could see a lot of Republicans who don't like Kevin McCarthy kind of thinking like, look, he'll eventually be Speaker, but it'll be funny to watch him fail 6 or 7 times.
Dude, it took him 15 times.
Right. That's what I think. That's what I think people were whispering.
Show up with like champagne bottles in the end, like as if, like, dude, these guys have no dignity. They don't care. They don't. or integrity is the word, right?
No,
the
first thing they did was got the Congressional Ethics Office. They try
to abolish the IRS, which is hysterical.
Launching all these investigations.
There's gonna be so many idiots now that watch like Fox News and stuff like that are gonna hear that like the IRS was disbanded by Republicans, and they're not gonna do their taxes this year. I bet you there's gonna be so many idiots that are gonna like not do their taxes because they're gonna think the IRS doesn't
exist.
Is
a weird dynamic. Like the Republicans are like pushing forward this like playbook that says, you know what, the best thing to do would be to like not contribute to society and demand safe spaces in schools. I mean, it's like a real bizarre
the first day before anyone was even put in to the Speaker House, they removed the metal detectors.
Yeah.
And then Kevin McCarthy like announced they're opening Congress for the people or something. It was it was definitely pre-January 6th. It might even be like a pre-9/11 thing. I don't know. But like it's really just bizarre, like really weird platitudes and bullshit. It's gonna be a lot of bullshit. That's all it's gonna be for the next year.
Yeah, I mean, like
if they remain in power. Go ahead, what?
The thing about Congress is they have elections every 2 years. Like it just seems like such a massive clown show that they're basically ensuring that the Democrats pick up the House next cycle.
Democrats have to put more money into defeating Boebert, whoever it is, get them Frisch again, get him again. He's proven to be competent. Get him in there. He literally lost by just 500 votes. Give the man fucking $10 million. That's
or someone else. I mean, there's probably a second.
You have 4 seats in New York that could be taken back with the right. Just put money in those. Don't waste your time in Florida. Don't waste your time in like any of the
Ohio, Florida, write them off.
Whatever money you were going to give to Marjorie Taylor Greene's opponent, give it to Adam Frisch.
Yeah.
So like Boebert should be considered a very vulnerable candidate at this point.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
If you're not, the media should be treating her like a dead man walking for the next 2 years.
Yeah. Well,
of course, she's acting like she won by like 1 million votes because
they can't help themselves. These are
fucking. They don't play by the same fucking rules.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years. I mean, they look, the congressional Republicans can do a lot of damage. I'm not like, but I think their effectiveness will be diminished by the fact that they can't get their shit together. So we'll see.
I don't know. I think they vote as a block regardless. I think the thing with Kevin McCarthy, after watching that, I was like, this whole thing's a show. Because then even that, I was like, I realized that I'm like, oh shit, because I saw the people like finally being seated at like 2 a.m. I'm like, these fucking people were not seated because you have to pick a House Speaker first. The House Speaker is the one that seats them. So like Rashida Tlaib, I see her tweet. It's like 2 a.m. on Friday. She's like, finally, I got seated. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
it's just
you're sitting there all fucking week watching this clown show, and then like the best was like Ron, this guy, I don't know, some creep who's just like, he gets up to vote and he's like, Kevin, and then he looks at the camera and he's like, burn. It's like, this is a joke.
Yeah, some of them are just like low, like to get elected in Congress in a place like, South Dakota or whatever, it's not terribly complicated. They're electing people that aren't like super.
These are not intelligent people.
Yeah. So
no. They don't have to be. They don't have to be. No. They just have to be rubber stamps for whatever powerful interest, and just repeat whatever right-wing talking point at the time.
Well, I saw before we started talking tonight, I was on the Washington Post website, and one of the things they're starting to talk about is developing criminal penalties for women who want the morning after pill.
Yep, I saw that.
So, I mean, like, go for it. That worked out real well for you last time.
Yeah.
You guys can't help yourself.
Unpopular positions. Again, the only reason Republicans have the House. because of the fucking census.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's the only reason. They didn't win by the landslide. I mean, I still can't. I mean, I guess Kevin McCarthy's such an arrogant idiot that he really believed that the Republicans would win 50 seats or something.
I think so.
That's why he didn't think that he would be a shoo-in and get elected.
I thought he figured in his head he had plenty of wiggle room, and it didn't work out that way. And so then he had to make deals with a bunch of lunatics, and now he's like the king of an unstable court.
Shit.
I mean, yeah, it's just
it's just gonna be a joke. It just cheapens government. I mean, like I was like, the IRS, they're gonna abolish IRS. Get the fuck out of here. And then they lie. They're like, I saw like Lauren Burr like, that's right. We're gonna fire those 87,000 employees. Like, first of all that is a lie. There's not 87,000 IRS agents were not hired. This was budgeted out. You have people who are retiring. This is about replacing people and filling in positions that were never filled.
They're no good with nuance.
That's all they do. Yeah, there's no nuance to anything. It's like the new thing is there's the Biden I guess Trump, the FBI came to Trump because he refused to give back the documents. It's been gone for 2 years. They asked him multiple times. He refused to. And I guess they got him, right? They took him.
They as far as we know, they got as many as they could.
Yeah, at a fucking Mar-a-Lago, a place that is literally a hotel, an overblown hotel. And Biden, I guess, had some papers, and this was years ago, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it's not the same thing at all. This is like not even the same, but the right wing is gonna, like, with no nuance whatsoever, is going. It's
the headline of the Washington Post opinion section tomorrow morning. It's going to be George Will's comment or Mark Thiessen's column about how if it was a big deal for Trump, it's a big deal for Biden.
Yeah,
even though
right. I saw Matt Walsh say a clip of that. It was the same exact thing. He's like, I don't care about any of this stuff, but I'm just playing by the rules of the left. The left determined that this is a bad thing, so that means Biden should have the FBI. I don't make the rules here. You guys do.
Yeah,
it's just cheap. It's it's the whole cheapening, and it's like when you talk to these idiots and like you talk about like January 6th and they bring up like burning cities during Black Lives Matter or something, and it's like that's not what happened. But okay,
never happened.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens. Now the new one, figure we'll just talk about it. The new hysteria is gas stoves.
Yeah, big deal. Yeah.
So I guess, is it the Biden administration or whatever? I don't even know like where this is coming from. It's about like just updating and making sure things are to code. They've done studies, and I guess people that don't have properly ventilated kitchens or ventilated houses or whatever, which is I'm sure a lot of Americans.
Yeah.
They've done a study, and I guess people who have gas stoves have a higher chance of their children developing asthma, which is not a fun thing to have. So there, it's kind of like saying like, hey, maybe you shouldn't have this. Either like build the house to code or replace the gas stove.
Well, from what I understand, it was just a report, and the Biden administration is like, yeah, we're not going to move on this. I mean, we got the recommendation that maybe in future instances or when you're rehabbing old homes, you should incentivize people to put in electric ranges, but we're not going to act on it. And the Republicans are like dancing around saying like, we're saving your stoves. Yeah. No one's going after your stoves.
Trying to take away your stove. And
no one's going after any stove.
My stove with my cold dead hands.
Yeah.
It's just it's amazing how they turn this into outrage. Even that idiot, Joe Walsh, isn't that his name? He's that pro-Trump guy who like turned against Trump, and it's like bait, like some liberals like yay, like who cares? Like he's just, and he put out a stupid tweet like, this is what my comments about like the left. It's these type of things, and I'm like, who's saying this? Why is it the left? It's a literal like report of statistics saying like, hey, if you just saying this is not good for children.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, if we get a lot of this, if the Republicans spend a lot of their time fighting imaginary things, that could be positive. I don't know.
I mean, I'd rather they weren't in power.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. But Biden should be having his departments run reports like, we're considering funding the monster under your bed, and then have the Republicans like, why these monsters don't need funding.
Monster under your bed.
The Democrats are trying to fund the monster under your bed. Like,
they're trying to fund vampires and werewolves. And then we're trying to not the Chupacabra. What's that other one? It's like a recent Babadook.
Yeah.
Tell me that we're gonna go by the Babadook initiative.
Biden
Babadook initiative? I don't think so.
A known gay icon is being funded by...
I never saw that movie, but I've heard, like, why does it have anything to do with LGBT?
I have no idea, but it is. That's like a real phenomenon. The gay community, I guess, adopted the Babadook as a...
Okay, cool, I guess. Good for the Babadook, I guess.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie?
Love is love.
This is completely off topic, but have you seen that movie Skinamarink?
No.
Oh, okay. It's supposed to be a horrifying new horror movie. I'm being serious.
Skinamarink?
It's called Skinamarink. It's by an unknown filmmaker, and the basic premise is the kid wakes up and he's alone in this house, and he notices that the windows start disappearing and the doors start disappearing and the toys start acting weird. It's really horrifying. I've seen clips on YouTube and TikTok.
It's out yet, or it will be out?
Just came out. Yeah, it's called Skinamarink.
I think I remember there was a movie in the 60s called Skidoo.
Oh, no, this is a modern horror movie. It's real experimental. It's like, but anyway.
All right, I'll look into that. Speaking of Skinamarink.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a shit show. And then
the insult of, like, I'm sorry, but the insult of Kevin McCarthy having, like, that should be brought to the end of time. Like, I'm sorry, but if that was a Democrat, the media would be all over that. They would, like, if Nancy Pelosi or whoever lost even once, they would be like, she needs to go. She needs to resign.
Not effective. She's not a leader.
Not effective. She's not uniting the party. And then, like, it's like, what a fucking clown show. Like 15 fucking times. A whole week was wasted on that.
Yeah.
And I said, like, that's a preview of the next 2 years. So who cares? It's not like they had any intention of doing anything. And I know you probably want to talk about something else real quick, but I do have one thing to bring up that's really funny, is that there's like a project on the right now, at least when it comes to like Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're definitely trying to smooth her image. And
for sure.
Well, like, one of the things that made her come off sane, even though Kevin McCarthy's not sane, is that she didn't give Kevin McCarthy a hard time. She fully backed him from the start. So,
and they
go ahead. What?
They've even made her look better. She is wearing. She used to look like like she just strolled out of a Village Inn on a Sunday at 1 p.m.
Did like those weird ass fucking pull-ups that she does, those, and like she just fucked some strange dude at a gym.
Yeah, looked like a gloppy mess, But now she looks like
they made her hair straight.
Yep, they straightened her hair,
like, cleaner, like more like simpler clothes that are like more streamlined. Yeah, I saw that interview of her on Fox, and she's trying to like deny now that she ever was in QAnon or like. I read some crazy stuff. I'm not in that.
It was really effective though, because they're basically like, remember when you said that Jewish space
remember that
lasers,
stuff you said a day ago?
Remember she's like look, a lot of people. She said, like, a lot of people, I got sucked into the internet. That was never my core issue. That was blah, blah. And she like pivoted, and I was like, she was really good at that. Like, she's still a garbage pail of a person.
Oh, like I said, she's way more effective than Lauren Boebert. That's why I always said Lauren Boebert's crap. Like, Lauren Boebert has no talent, no ability. That's why I said, like, if I had to pick a conversation with someone, it would be Mark. If someone had a gun to my hand and said, you got to talk to these two people.
If someone had a gun,
I think I could actually have a conversation with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, it would just be like,
if I were trapped in an elevator with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, and I had a gun with 2 bullets, I would shoot myself twice. I would shoot myself.
Yeah.
I'm just
I don't know. Yeah.
not gonna risk it.
Going to bullets to both sides of my head. One in one ear, one out the other.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I do agree though. You had said that previously, that Marjorie Taylor Greene was kind of the more dangerous.
I just said she's definitely better at it.
Yes.
Like they're both dangerous idiots, but like I just think she's believes in the shit more. I think she's more savvier. I think
And
she's just a failed actress. So like,
yeah, I think someone got a hold of Marjorie Taylor Greene and said, hey, look, if you give us a couple days and you do what we tell you and you wear what we tell, then you will reap many benefits.
You'll be the next Liz Cheney.
Yeah, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, I'm in. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah, she wants to get back in there and get those positions. Yeah. She doesn't want. She wants to. And the thing is, the joke is, she's still gonna do all the insane shit.
Yeah.
It'll just be a little smoother. It was funny. It's like she's on Fox, and I was looking at her, I'm like, man, they did something to her. She looks much better. Scary. She's talking better, and I'm like, it's like the episode when Kyle doesn't invite Cartman to Casa Bonita.
Yeah.
And Cartman shows up at Kyle's house.
All debonair.
And he's just wearing a nice sweater. And he expects Kyle to like, look at me, I'm better now. And Kyle's like, you're just wearing a sweater. Like, you're still a piece of shit. You're not going to the party. Like, I'm not gonna invite you to the party because you're wearing this. And that's pretty much what Marjorie Taylor Greene is.
Yeah. I was like,
literally the same. She's gonna be the same right-wing demagogue. Anti-trans, anti-LGBT, anti-Ukraine, all these positions. Like,
she just won't have a chew in while she's being interviewed.
What?
She just won't have a chew in while she's being interviewed.
Have a little spit next to her. Like, I honestly think that you could convince fucking Lauren Boebert to be a Democrat. I really don't think that she has any. I mean, she might be a true right-wing chud. I don't know, but I really truly believe Marjorie Taylor Greene is 100%.
Oh yeah. No, I think that if the same person who went to Marjorie Taylor Greene went to Lauren Boebert would be like, oh, okay, but then she would lose interest an hour into it, and
1 minute.
Like she wouldn't do what they say.
And I had to go 2 bullets and shoot myself twice. Just in case I missed the first time.
I don't think Boebert could do it. I think she'd be like, my constituents like skin tight Wranglers and scuffed Reeboks, and so that's what I'm gonna give them.
Skin tight Wranglers and scuffed Reeboks for everyone.
Yeah,
American flags for everyone else.
Right.
Yeah, I was laughing. I was watching this thing, and I'm like, this PR stunt with Marjorie Taylor Greene on Fox, and I'm just like, man, they are just smoothing her out a little bit. They're just like, hey, come here a second. Let's just straighten that hair. Let's make you look a little less deranged.
Right. Get me a chamois. Get me a chamois and some kerosene. I'm going to take
crazy.
Some of this
it's like they
off.
made her eyes a little less closer to each other.
Yeah.
They were able to okay, let's just get those a little further apart from each other.
Yeah, it was. So probably an optical illusion. It's like a very small series of mirrors glued to her eyelids.
It's like you ever seen those weird statues where you walk by it, it's it's not, and it looks like but it's made in a way that it's angled, the back is
those
empty.
Are cool.
That's kind of like her head.
I'll bet. Yeah,
it's right. My son talked about this because remember time we see Owen Wilson, he has that crazy nose.
Yes, yeah,
and he basically looks like it's like his face looks different at every angle because of that nose.
Yeah, that is true.
There's no, it's I can't define it. I don't know what that shape is. I've always watched any movie with him in it. I'm always just looking at it. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Do you remember that Saturday Night Live skit where someone portrayed him and they basically had like a penis where his nose should be? It was like
no.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was who was that? Someone played Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson. Gosh.
I mean,
It's Owen, right? Owen Wilson, SNL, penis nose. That's what I'm Googling here.
Yeah, good luck with whatever shows up now.
Oh my God. Okay. Here's the tweet. When I did SNL and played Owen Wilson with a nose that looked like a dick.
Who is this?
Let's see, who was it?
Was it Edward Norton?
I think it was David Spade. No, here, I'm texting it to you. I think it was David Spade.
Because Edward Norton played Owen Wilson in one thing one time. He was going, "Oh wow."
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh God. Yeah, that must be David Spade. Ew. It does look like a dick. It's got a fucking bell end.
Yeah. But people talked about it for like weeks after.
It fucking got the vein and shit.
That's not even a good photo of it. It like looks like
it's just big. It sounds like the dick resting on his nose. That's amazing. I love that. It's like they got away with that.
Yeah. I mean, it looked more. If I'm sure the clip's on YouTube or something,
Oh,
but
God, that's so funny.
It was more obvious in other angles. Anyway, I guess
the only thing I know of David Spade now is because if you watch like Hulu, they show like the same like 2 commercials all the time, and if you're not paying for like if you're just paying for the regular, you get the commercials.
Right.
One fucking commercial gets aired all the time with him. I don't know what it's even for, but it's like this brother. It's this guy who wanted to buy a gift, and you think it's a girlfriend, but you find out it's his sister. And David Spade's in the commercial.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like so repetitive, and it's so annoying. And that's all I know of him now is that fucking commercial.
Well,
and
I guess
penis nose thing.
We've reached the logical conclusion of our discussion of the new Congress. We're talking.
That is pretty much a nose that looks like a penis is a good example of the Republican Congress.
Yeah. Well, I guess
they're all chodes.
The next thing was that Brazilian. What's this guy's name? Lulu.
Bolsonaro.
Lula, yeah, Bolsonaro.
Former president, lost to Lula. He tried doing like the joke is that Lula was, that when Bolsonaro came to power, he arrested Lula. Lula was in jail,
right?
Which is crazy. And I guess they had no right to keep him, or he got out, and he ran for president, won. Bolsonaro tried pulling like not like the same stop the steal kind of shit. Didn't work.
Yeah.
Lula was inaugurated on January 1st, I guess, and Bolsonaro. I talked about this on the podcast. Was in the fact that he wasn't going to be at the inauguration.
Yep.
He went to Florida, I guess Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And for like the past week, weird images of him. Like there was a photo of him going around of him eating alone at a KFC eating.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And then like other videos coming around of him like walking around a Publix in Florida.
Yep. And
it was very strange. And then all of a sudden, this past Sunday, there was like a January 6th type thing that happened in Brazil at their state capital.
Yep.
There was all these people. And it's kind of funny when you start putting it together and you realize, okay, he's in Florida. Florida has been known for protecting like South American fascists before.
Yeah.
The other thing is Publix is owned by one of the family owners or whatever. I don't know if it's private or public company. Publix.
Yeah.
Supposedly one of the members like paid for a lot of the buses for January 6th.
Yes.
So kind of funny that Bolsonaro would be, so the theory, so there was a big like thing where people were destroying shit.
It was like a January 6th, yeah.
Yeah, it was basically January 6th. And it was pretty crazy to watch. It was just getting really bad and escalating. Supposedly some of the cops were like totally cool with it, kind of like there was no fact that there were cops on January 6th that were just letting people in.
Yeah.
But the difference between this January 8th, which is when it happened, right? No.
Yeah.
January 8th. Versus January 6th is that when they did it, Lula was president already for a week.
Right.
And Trump was still president when January 6th happened.
Yeah.
So whoever came up with this idea was an idiot.
Right.
Lula had basically the military come in, and pretty much everyone was arrested.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like, he put out a thing basically saying this. I think even like the cops or whatever that were helping. And basically it's like, yeah, dude, this guy's like the president. Like, and that's why I was like, January 6th only happened because Trump was in power.
He was still in power. He controlled the levers of the government.
He controlled the levers of power. He controlled the National Guard. That's why they were saying, like, there was a lot of push for like statehood for DC, because if there was true statehood for DC, then the governor or whoever would be considered for DC could call in the National Guard or whatever it is, and could have ended it hours earlier, January 6th.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's like the states, the president has control of it. So that's why it got to do what it was going to do. So I don't know what's going to happen to the people who tried pulling a coup in Brazil, but they pretty much, it seems like everyone was like arrested.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a huge difference between.
Yeah, I do too.
where you have people so basically.
I don't think you're going to get 30 days and write an essay.
Yeah, you get like a lot of the scrubs. Some of the worst ones are facing more jail time, but on average, most of these people are just getting like a month. That guy, that one piece of shit, the one who had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. What happened to that guy? I saw his case was up recently. Do you know what he got anything? I saw McFarlane, is that his name? Scott McFarlane?
Yeah.
Was posting about it.
What did he get? One day. Oh, his trial just started yesterday.
That guy just seems like a total piece of shit.
Yeah. Richard Big O Barnett. A lot of these people, it's weird, like a lot of these people, some of them had like normal lives or whatever, but like a lot of them are like dead enders. They have like criminal records. They have like, I don't know, a lot of them are just like kind of garbage fringe people anyway. I mean,
but so everyone was like, well, what's going on here? Like Lula's Bolsonaro's in Florida, this is happening. And then like clearly he made sure those videos of him eating at KFC, walking around Publix got out. So he could make some lame attempt like, hey, I had nothing to do with this. I'm here fucking around.
Yeah.
Supposedly the joke is he's in the hospital because he supposedly got food poisoning or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, is it Joaquin Castro or whatever? It was like,
yep,
this guy needs to be kicked out of the country. He needs to be extradited, and he's still here, right? He never left.
I believe last I heard he was in the US waiting to go to Italy. And then I recently heard that he's supposedly going back to Brazil for some, I don't know.
He should be forced to go back to Brazil.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird. Like, what is he here on? Is it a legal thing? I mean, is there?
I think it was one, be a little bitch about the inauguration.
Yeah.
Two, clearly it's probably a legal thing too. I think he is. He was incredibly corrupt, so he's definitely going to face something.
Well, no, I just mean like, is he here legally to begin with? Like, what was his like when you go into
the
country now?
I don't know, like how he's here. I don't know if he's like sponsored. I have no idea. You can come here on vacation. You just need like
but like
at some point you can't stay. You need like a visa or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what the rules are for former fascist presidents, but it's just odd. And the joke, it's funny. It's like he's in the hospital again. The man like lives in the hospital.
Yeah,
he had like COVID like 6 times or something like that. Like the guy, it's just pathetic. It's like, what's this guy doing? He's walking around Florida. Like someone said he got food poisoning from Florida. It's our state. He should be forced to go back. And forced to face. And some asshole wrote like, I forget what it was. Oh, like January. Oh, like someone says about like Trump not getting arrested, and the fact that the leaders of January 6th, none of them are facing any charges. And this one idiot wrote like, "Oh, what does that have to do with anything?" And I wrote, "It has everything to do with things."
Yeah.
If you're if you're the loser of Brazil, Bolsonaro, and you're planning on a coup, and you see that Trump is still flourishing, even
Right.
he's running for president, and that any of the congressional or senator people that were involved are still there, the Supreme Court, any of these people, the Charlie Kirk, Ginny Thomas, any of these like leader groups, none of them were arrested, none of them are facing criminal charges. So of course, if you're a leader, if you're Bolsonaro and you're backed by the same fucking people, Bannon backs him and all that. Of course, you're going to be like, I could get away with it. So that's a stupid comment to say that one has nothing to do with the other. And Bolsonaro and Trump were like, fucking this. They're the same, like part of the same fascist.
Same playbook.
Now Farage, all these other scumbags. It's the same. They're all part of the same team. Like this is like a weird, like global fascist takeover event.
Yeah, it is weird. It's just like a very unsuccessful one.
So it'd be great if like Lula and Brazil like do what we in the United States wanted to happen to Trump and Bolsonaro. We'll see. I bet nothing will happen, but I bet he doesn't go back.
Yeah, I doubt.
But I think he should be. I think he should be forced to leave. There's no, once he's out of the hospital.
Yeah,
he should be sent back to wherever. That was ridiculous. I was watching it. I was like, you gotta be. I'm like, is this going to happen everywhere now? Yeah. Anytime there's like some fascist loser that loses because their ideas suck and they're unpopular and the people hate them.
Yeah.
They're going to do this fucking, and it's just going to get worse every time.
Yeah. It snowballs.
Yeah. And and it's going to happen here again at some point.
I would think so. I was a little surprised it didn't happen in Arizona with that Kerry Lake stuff.
Oh, it came close, but I think the reality is that, I don't know, maybe. I think again, you have a Democratic president.
That's a big,
you have Democratic, with the, what is it, Justice Department or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
If Trump was president,
it'd
be a different story. If Trump was president, Kerry Lake would have declared victory, which she did declare victory. But I bet you there would have been like a January 6th type of thing in Arizona. And Trump would have sat back and been like, people are speaking out,
Yeah.
They're just, this is what the people want. They wanted a washed up TV show host, just like me.
Yeah.
Requires a soft lighting every time she's interviewed.
So awful.
It's so weird.
It really is weird.
It's crazy. It's like the lighting's on her, and then when the proper lighting's on her, she looks like the crone from Willow.
She does. Yeah.
all of a sudden, she's just like thousands of cracks on her face.
Right.
Man, why do you have the soft light on when you talk? Why's the soft filter on? Why do you demand that?
Well, here, speaking of demanding a soft filter, George Santos is one. That makes any sense. Yeah, he does. He's like a chameleon. I mean, he's
Zelig.
He is Zelig. He's still in office, and I guess the Nassau County
Republican chair said he needs to resign, and he tweeted today, "I'm not resigning."
It's really crazy. Like, look, the Republicans have such a thin margin for error that like every seat is, if Santos resigned, that would become a Democratic seat.
Can it? Does it? I don't know how it works in New York. I mean,
it would either be an election, or the governor would appoint. I don't know which would it be, but those are the only.
I think there might be an appointment, but there would be like a special election. It'd be held up in like the summer. But it would definitely probably go to a Democrat this time because the shenanigans, the Republicans would just be more tainted.
Yeah.
So definitely go to a Democrat. Yeah. And then you go from like what, a 6 seat, where they have like 7 seats?
I think 6 or 7.
Wait, let's see. If you needed 218 and Hakeem Jeffries was getting 212 all the time, that means, I think they have like a 7-seat lead. So get rid of Santos, that's 6. And it just gets smaller and smaller. And then the Democrats are going to pick up another seat. soon, supposedly. So that's 213, regardless. Without Santos, it's still 213. So that margin gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I this guy, it's really bizarre. And I will say, before the election, he was all kind of centrist. Let's work. He's
Jewish, he's gay. You know, the thing is too, is my dad told me the Democrat opponent was gay.
Yeah.
And I think he might have also been Jewish too. So this guy's like claiming that he had family that was killed in the Holocaust. Then the motherfucker, there's photos of him that leaked from the the votes for Kevin McCarthy, where he's doing the fucking white power gesture. It's like,
well, he's become real smug and he's palling around with people. It is really bizarre. I mean, this seems like a legitimate plant. Like he is, like this is a prank of some sort or something. I think every hour he stays in office makes it easier for him to remain in office. I don't know. I mean, hopefully the district. I've heard that there's a lot of like federal and state and local investigations. I mean, that could work too. But man, what a disaster! I can't believe the Democratic Party in that district dropped the ball on this one. And I know it's not like their fault entirely. It's a bunch of things, but like, man, this guy should have been easy to beat.
It does seem like dropping the ball. I think regardless if this guy if he even runs in 2 years, if he stays, he's done. No way this guy gets. Who's?
Oh yeah.
I don't think he gets reelected. I'm sorry, but like, there's a reason why like Republicans in New York have to play by a different set of rules from Republicans in Texas. The reason why the Republican leader comes out and says that is because there's more pressure.
Yep.
I'm sorry too. I think that there's a higher standard for these politicians.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
Clown shit stays
New York
in the fucking South Dakota and the fucking boony areas and shit like that. New York, I'm sorry, New York's held to a higher standard. It just is. For
the most part, and this isn't 100% true. If you are the average person in New York, you get your information through a variety of sources. You get it through the internet, you get it through social media, but you also get it maybe like if you're at the park, if you're in a social club, if you have a restaurant or a deli you go to often or something, you're constantly hearing different perspectives.
The man in the corner.
Well, you're constantly hearing the dog.
The dog that barks to kill people.
Yeah, all that's kind of factored in.
The Sam dog is, he tells me to kill people, but he's also a great source of information.
Sparky, yeah, he knows all the dirt.
He knows all the dirt. The son of Sam dog. He's still alive 50 years later, but he's kicking,
Well, don't be silly. I mean, I'm sure it's his puppies that have grown to be
the great grandchildren of son of Sam dog.
But if you live in like rural, Whitefish, Montana.
All I'll say is New York can take a Regents exam to pass your class.
Well, also, like I said,
those are hard as shit.
They are. If you live in a small rural town, you maybe get your information primarily from like your church group, period. Or like you don't get this huge array of perspectives, even if you choose to ignore them. It almost is to the point where you like don't believe that other perspectives exist.
There just is I got hired from outside state companies all the time, and I think part of me just being from New York was like, oh, this guy's gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to everyone else. It's just this is just and it may not hold true all the time, but there's just a perception of like, and I'll take it back because I've worked with some really horrible people when I lived in New York, but lazy ass people. But there's just, I think the politicians in New York are just probably held to a higher standard than the ones that are going to be in South Dakota. I'm not even talking about like even like if they're smart or not. I'm talking about like corruption. I think there might be a better media in New York.
A better.
What happened with Andrew Cuomo? I bet you if he was like in Texas, he would still be there.
Oh yeah. Chip Roy. Chip Roy's head is shaped like an actual bullet. It's like,
Who is that again?
Chip Roy. He is, I think he's I forget the district he's in, but he's a representative from Texas.
Yeah.
Just crap person.
Well, New York has their fucking clowns. That scumbag, what's her face? Stelinek, whatever.
Oh,
Stephanie,
yeah.
whatever, from upstate New York. I mean, there's some real shitty people, but I don't think Santos, even if he lasted 2 years, he's done. And I think that he'll be primary. He's going to get primary no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I don't think he cares. I think he was there to.
I believe he'll be gone. I think that you got the chairman of the Republican Party in Nassau County, which is, I guess, the district he's supposed to be part of, telling you to fucking resign. I think that's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
I mean, and I think if the Republicans, the way they usually work, that's like, I don't think that guy would just say that on his own without
I agree.
I think in the end of the day, the Republicans have a massive liability with this guy.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you could look at it the other way. The media will constantly be focusing on Santos while the rest of them do all kinds of ridiculous shit. So Santos could serve a purpose, but I just think at some point that's only going to last to a point. I mean, there's like, and isn't the joke is he's like wanted by Brazil?
Yeah, there's like an active criminal warrant against him
in Brazil. Some shit with his sister too. It's like some other weird corruption.
I didn't hear about that. But the big thing that came out today is that he took a bunch of campaign donations from this non-citizen smuggler, which is apparently illegal. I mean, I that's it. He's just like, I don't know what his end game is, because he's really opened himself to a lot of like liability. He would have been, maybe he was trying to like, maybe he didn't think he'd win. Maybe it was like a Trump deal where he thought like he could launder money by running a campaign and he accidentally won. I don't know.
The whole thing is bizarre. It's like every day there's something, like it was the guy from the Republican Party say something, like he brought up like volleyball, like the guy basically claimed that he was on the volleyball team. And then it was revealed that like he might not even went to that fucking school. He didn't even Baruch or something. He didn't even he was not on the team. And let me tell you, as the former coaches winner of the coaches award in 9th grade volleyball team,
yes,
I am very offended.
Yeah.
By what George Santos line.
That hits too close to home.
Stolen volleyball. Stolen volley.
Stolen
volley, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess that we're kind of, this transitions easily into our final topic, which is that already people have started saying that they're going to run for office in the next cycle, which
I saw the one in California. Is there any other big announcements?
Well, Barbara Lee, also in California, said she's going to run for that Senate seat too.
But is there any other stuff, or that's the only one we're talking about?
I have seen like nobody's, like I don't know their name, but I've seen a lot of people start saying like, hey, this shithead won, I'm gonna vote, I'm gonna run next cycle.
Some guy who's running against Josh Hawley.
I've seen that.
I don't know if I'm assuming he's a Republican primarying him. I don't know.
But I
don't know what he is. I don't care. Whatever gets rid of that guy. Josh Hawley sucks.
Yeah.
But I guess the joke is about the whole California thing. So first, Katie Porter announced like 2 days ago, put out an ad and basically said, I'm running for senator in 2024.
Yeah.
California. And the joke is that Feinstein never said she was leaving. It's insane that she would run, because I think she's
like 89. She's not. 90, I thought she was older.
She'll be 91 though.
Yeah.
In that election.
Right.
And the woman supposedly has no wits left.
Yeah.
And it's like a what do you call it? Like worst kept secret that the woman is.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Katie Porter announced it. And everyone's like, that's like a brilliant move because you're basically like coming in, you're going to get a ton of money, and it's like a way to scare people.
She's great too. I mean, she's a very
popular. Now Barbara Lee's running. I heard she's good too.
She's good, and I heard Adam Schiff is wanting to run.
Well, I just think it's really funny that they're jumping on this before what's her face even said she's leaving.
Right.
It's a nice way to be like, hey, you know what? We got 3 pretty
solid
big
primaries,
Congress people. Like, these aren't scrubs. Like, Adam Schiff is high profile.
All national figures.
Profile, Barbara Lee. These are high profile Democrats in California. And they're gunning for you. And
yeah, that's great. And I heard I didn't mention this earlier, but the guy who runs the Democratic Party in the state of Florida resigned.
So what's that mean?
Hopefully anything other than the guy running the Democratic Party in Florida.
Why, is he terrible? I mean, I'm assuming he's terrible since since Democrats have done very terribly in Florida.
They've been decimated. There's like no Democrats anywhere in Florida. Like they are the Republicans have a super majority in the state Senate.
Yep.
They have the governor and all elected offices. Seats. Yeah. And honestly, like a lot of people have said, DeSantis is not this great candidate. They should. No. And none of these are great candidates.
He's a fucking like. It's like they were was trying to like hype this guy up.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like, I remember watching that debate with Chris, and I'm like, he just looks like a weird, uncomfortable goon. He was making all kinds of bizarre faces and like couldn't answer questions.
I don't know who I would put in charge of it.
I still think Florida's a lost cause. I mean, listen, I think like whatever they do, they gotta like just try to get more congressional seats. And
they gotta. That's what they gotta do. To be honest,
try to win some delegates, some state. Yeah, that's really the true thing, is to chip away at the state house, because let's say you get a Democratic governor in there, you're still gonna have like all these holdovers from DeSantis in there who are just gonna be horrible right wingers that are gonna like.
They need someone maybe like a Nikki Fried, or someone young and kind of.
I just think it's crazy that I couldn't believe Chris lost by that much. I couldn't believe how not close that was. I mean,
I'm a little skeptical, but like I don't know. I mean, like it is what it is. Florida's got a lot of shitheads in it. I mean, they really do.
A lot more shitheads supposedly moved there over the past 2 years because they acted like it was fucking right-wing Shangri-La.
I will say too that the Republicans have done a really good job in making like casual team politics popular. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to butcher the way I say this, but like the Democrats don't come out and say like, hey, this is a cool thing to be a Democrat, but like the Republicans have really kind of made it like a fun brand in places like Florida. So I don't know. I agree. I think that whoever runs the Democratic Party in Florida next needs to start locally. They need to start trying to get people in school boards, city councils, stuff like that. You find good candidates locally. Like it's relatively easy to go into a town and find like an old family name that maybe owns a car dealership or a popular something, and you run them as a Democrat, and then you get a bunch of them and you see which ones are doing well, and then you run those people as like state senators or whatever. It's going to take 20 years.
It's going to take a long time. That's why I said, like, I think at this point though,
you got to do it. I mean, like, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to do it. It's a long game, instead of trying to like do stunts with the higher positions, unless you have like a really truly good candidate. But I think I don't know. Yeah, I think like it's gonna have to be like school boards, shit like that. But
I think the mistake would be to get a big name and run him or her as governor and then forget about everything else. You got to run someone for governor. You run who you're going to run, but the money should be going at the bottom.
That's why I said it's like the same thing too, how they spend money. It's like, instead of like giving a ton of money to like Marjorie Taylor Greene's opponent in Georgia.
No.
Give that money to Adam Frisch to beat Boebert. Give that money to whoever's going against
George Santos
or whoever's going to be in that seat, or give that money to the other people in New York. So because I think it was like the 4 seats. That's almost the majority right there.
Yeah. Honestly.
And again, it's like, we always talk about, we're gonna wrap this up in a few, but like, thinking with the Boebert election being off by 500 votes, where's the outrage behind that? Like, stop the steal, man. How did this all of a sudden a little meal showed up with thousands of votes for Boebert? That's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess I'm glad that Democrats play by the rules with stuff like that. But I was real disappointed when that guy conceded right away. I mean, I think he's probably right. Like, I think Boebert won by 500 votes. I think so too. That probably happened.
I just think it's weird how long it took for them to like.
Yeah, come on.
That was odd. Like, really, you couldn't count that. Like, why did that take a week? Like, this isn't. I thought that was odd. Like, why is this taking a week? Like,
I would just make them go through the motions. Like, look, because you never know. You never know. If you told me that Adam Frisch had won by 500, I'd find that equally plausible. I would.
The congressional seat, it's definitely plausible.
Yeah.
Especially when you start talking about like smaller areas with less population, like 500 votes.
Go through the motions. Don't concede. Let them count all the votes. He
said that. This is what he said. He conceded, but he said, he's like, listen, I know this is going to go to automatic recount, and it did. He's like, it is more than likely going to be.
Yeah.
He just didn't want people donating money to him anymore. He said,
that's fair. Like I said, he ran the race. He earned the right to finish it however he chose. I'm just saying, like,
closer than I thought. And for some reason, I always just thought that area was so deep red that and it's not. I'll say the town I went to, though, where I saw like a ton of billboards, I could see probably most of the votes for her probably came from there, because that area was like, country as fuck.
That area too, like, and we've talked about this before. It's not as easy to just say they're Republican. They're like,
I said it's spread out that seat. It's a huge like portion of Colorado, actually. So you just got pockets of different populations. And I'm saying the one that I was in, probably most of the votes that she got probably came from that one area.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm not saying that the whole district is red. It's not, because like it's
and it's also not even red. It's like libertarian. It's like, it's a weird. Some of those people have like pretty liberal views too on some things.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah,
like simplified bullshit. Like, I got to take my taxes. It's like, it's like people that watch that This Place Rules and just leaves going, both sides are crazy.
Right. Yeah. Well, the libertarians in like Western Colorado are the kind that don't want to pay taxes, but do want the federal government to lay like 18,000 miles of telewire to their house so they can get internet, even though it benefits literally
spread conspiracy theories about the government.
Literally no other human on earth is going to use that 18,000 miles of wire. But like, you want the government to pipe it into your home, and you get pissed off when they provide a free bus, in downtown Denver.
I love the hypocrisy behind the whole thing.
It's crazy.
Well, people, most people are selfish.
Yep.
That's fact.
Yeah.
They just think internet's this magic thing that happens.
Yeah.
And it requires, like you just said, 18,000 feet of wires.
It does. I mean, they all like, if you live in a very rural area, you're benefiting. You're getting like incredibly subsidized. So many people are paying so much money just so you can have.
You don't even have a sewer system, probably.
Yeah.
You fucking have a septic tank.
So I don't know.
The fact that you have electricity is a miracle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're Yeah, they're frustrating. I don't know. It's frustrating.
It is funny that you're right. Yeah, that you live in the middle of nowhere. There's like 50 of you that live in the area, and you expect to have the same internet as like the
Yeah.
city.
Right. Like it takes you can lay like a mile of wire in downtown Denver and get internet to like probably 30% of the people in the entire state, you know,
Yeah,
versus
that's like the entire. That's basically like an example of the entire country, pretty much. To a
yeah.
point.
Well, yeah, I mean it's the same in Texas. It's like you have like some idiot out in like
Wizard Well.
yeah, something like that. Like
That's a real area. I told you about that. Trying to do a town called Wizard Well. Had a population of like 40.
Cold urine springs, you know, and like they're
Wizard Balls.
and they're like pissed off that like there's a free shuttle that goes from one end of downtown Dallas to the next, probably runs the state, but total of like 40 grand a year.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It costs them nothing but like the shit to get them wires.
Yeah, just literally to get you one bar is gonna take like 17,000 wooden poles lined down a dirt road, and then like 30,000
bucks.
Yeah,
that doesn't affect you in any way whatsoever.
Morons. Good God.
These people suck. Well, that's a product of right-wing media. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like
which they pipe in through their subsidized Wi-Fi, which they
it's like really funny.
Someone said that I'm sure this is like a common thing you've probably heard before, but someone said that libertarians are like cats. They're like completely dependent upon.
They think that they're this independent thing.
Yes.
They are completely dependent on their own.
Yes. The 100% dependent. Like,
and if you argue with a libertarian, the joke is no matter what direction it goes, and it always ends with them talking like, okay, so who's going to decide this? Who's going to do this? Well, you know, we'll have a group and we'll vote on a person, and that person will decide. And you're like,
yeah.
So you mean a government?
Right.
It always ends there. They're like, like
they just all remind me of like a kid who ends every argument with like, I didn't ask to be born. You know, it's like,
what?
Well, because you tell them like, well, how do you think we pay for, I didn't ask for you to pave the roads. How do you think, I didn't ask you to put Wi-Fi in my home? And then it's like, it's all
one time we were driving home from like, let's see, we went to New Mexico and then we went to Lubbock.
Oh, yeah.
And we were driving home from Lubbock, Texas. And we got to go through a lot of areas that we never been through in Texas, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And a little more than a year and a half ago. And it was really funny. We were going through the towns and we were just looking at the signs of the populations for each town.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, no joke. One of them was called like Gurgle something. And that had like 1,000 people that lived there.
East Gargamel.
Like, Gargamel. Gargables.
Here in East Gargamel.
Yeah, there was it was literally called like Gurgle something. It made me like crack up. But there was like all these like little towns, and it's like just driving through them. It was like a population of like 3,000. They had like one Dairy Queen, you know? Right. And like maybe a fucking like what do they call those things? Dollar General.
And it was like an $8.2 million public work project back in the 1970s that brought them electricity.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. That's like the joke is you give these guys like Wi-Fi or whatever, like you said, and what are they going to do? They're going to stream Fox News, go on Facebook and
order my pillows.
Bullshit conspiracies. The state budget goes to give them, like you said, one bar.
Yeah, I mean, like it would be a fraction of the budget. Like you could probably provide free public transportation to everyone in the downtown areas of Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and still not even come close to what we pay to get Wi-Fi out to like the sticks. So whatever.
Unappreciated fucks. Oh God, that's depressing. Now, like, That was really funny. That's a funny. I think that's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah, because we talked up gas stoves with Congress. Oh man, what? You know what? It's my goddamn right to burn my hand on a gas stove. Okay. You know what I like? You know what I like? Leaving the house and living the fear that I might have left the gas on the gas stove. That's always a good feeling, you know? And I think everyone in America should have that right of like, I accidentally leave the gas running in my house for like.
I like an ambient mixture of carcinogens and 80 known heavy metals floating around my kitchen because I'm literally pumping volatile natural gas and igniting it to cook my fucking hot dogs.
I sound like some asshole, like, everyone knows that the gas cooks the food better. I'm like, oh God, here we go. There comes all the bullshit.
Look, your beefaroni is going to taste about the same whether you nuke it. Yes.
It's so fucking glad, dude. Like, that's listen, your fucking cheese whiz fucking Twinkie sandwich is gonna taste the same. You inbred piece of shit. You make it sound like they're all like.
Tell me that 90% of your diet isn't deep fried, and then we'll talk.
Your pepperoni. It's gonna warm up the same.
Yeah,
the bottom of your pot is gonna be congealed.
I think from ages 0 to about 22, I lived off of like beefaroni and Taylor's hams. Like,
dude, I loved beefaroni as a kid.
Beefaroni was the clear. We've talked about that before about how superior it was to Franco-American.
Franco-American was disgusting. Chef Boyardee all the way. Beefaroni was the leader of them. The other stuff I could do without.
SpaghettiOs, had that weird metallic tang.
Yeah, I did never like Franco-American stuff.
No,
I always thought it tasted weird. And the meatballs tasted like fucking like Vienna sausages.
Yeah, they had a plasticity to them.
At least the Chef Boyardee felt somewhat like meat. Like you're eating actual meat, I think. Or something.
The pasta too was like real firm and good, and the sauce had that weird. It was weird orange, but it was like good. It was almost like
I want to go eat some of that now.
Yeah,
and I only have an electric stove, so I guess I will never know what it's like to enjoy.
Pop that in the air fryer.
That I don't think that would work. That should be the end of the menu. Oh yeah. Why don't you crack open a can of beefaroni? I bet you can't do that.
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna reignite my joy for life.
Smiling with a little tear, opening a can of beefaroni.
There we go, full circle.
But real quick, do you remember that Seinfeld episode when Kramer when he was subbed in for the guy for the horse carriage?
And
a giant can of pepperoni. He fed the horse
in. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Thinking like the worst parts. He had the George's future wife's parents on the something, and they're all like, oh. Well, I know. To this day, since I've seen that episode, it makes me crack up every time I see it.
That's a good
one. All right. On that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
He's still going about that. Oh, you're going about what?
About that.
No, that's right. Bye.
Bye.
Your pepperoni's going to take the metal.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.